1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a fella in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Is cocaine a stronger up?
Yeah.
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
A better looking person than Kamala.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
Shut up, silly woman.
It's all Fugazi. You know what Fugazi is?
Fugazi. It's a fake.
Yeah, Fugazi. It's a wazi. It's a woozy.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. How you doing today, Eddie?
Pretty good. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. And there's plenty to get to today. But we have a tradition here on Wednesdays where we kick off the show with the one, the only Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show there at 106.5 FM, Mobile, Fairhope area, and editor-in-chief at 1819news.com. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for being on. I want to start with a state issue because I've read the reporting being done, especially at 1819, about this dust-up between who was the head of Veterans Affairs in the state and Governor Kay Ivey. But I can't make heads or tails over the actual origins of this dispute, like who's actually right about the money. Seems the governor used her own power and prerogative to fire the guy, and I suppose she has that right. But are they actually right on the facts, on the merits that this Veterans Affairs Director, Kent Davis, actually mishandled ARPA funds?
No, the perception is as such that he did, but the agency never actually followed through. I think they had made some proposals that would have been a violation of the ARPA statute, and the state caught it in time. Because we reached out to the general fund chairman in the Senate, Greg Albritton, and he said, no, it's a little exaggerated. Lawmakers are unwilling to talk about this issue really on the record at all, but they will tell you, that's sort of just the vehicle that Ivey is using to go after Admiral Davis here in this whole saga.
Yeah, and for folks who don't know, the board, again, the Veterans Affairs Board did not want him to resign. They voted as such.
Yeah.
And at the end of the meeting, the attorney, the general counsel for Ivey, walked up to Davis's attorney and said, here's the termination letter. And it's like, that's cold-blooded. I didn't know the governor's office had it in them.
Oh, this governor is petty and vindictive, and she absolutely has it in her. The thing is, Joey, like she's missing in action 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And the 10% she's showing up, this is the one like lone act of non-ribbon cutting that she's engaging in. And I have to think about this in this listing area in Montgomery, Alabama, right now. Old 65 somewhere, someone's probably sitting in traffic. Probably in some of the prisons up there in Elmore County, someone's having their Eighth Amendment rights violated. You look around at all the problems in this state, and this governor who's been absent a lot, this is where she's putting her effort. And I find that just mind-blowing.
It really is. I've wanted more, executive energy and action, but when I was looking at this, I think it is, I agree, it's petty, and it seems like it's a personal thing at this point. And, well, let's hope 2026 gets here sooner rather than later. I know it'll get here whenever, time allows it, but I'm looking forward to, say, a new generation of folks at least competing for that top slot.
I mean, essentially, though, just to catch you up on it, I mean, it's a turf war over an opioid settlement. The governor deemed all that money from this opioid settlement to go to Alabama's Department of Mental Health. They have contracts with Point or whoever. That's another story for another day. Veterans Affairs said, wait a minute. We got mental health crisis among our veterans. We could do a lot of good with this. And that was sort of the rub, and they said, our governors all said, no, absolutely not. Now, the difference here is the mental health commissioner is in the governor's cabinet. The Veteran Affairs Commissioner is not. And, there's more institutional control from the executive branch than had they gone with the VA. So the VA files an ethics. The VA board, the commissioner at the behest of the board, is what we're told, files an ethics complaint against the governor's mental health commissioner, and the ethics commission just sort of blows it off. But Ivy took it very personally, it appears, and this is why I think this drama is kind of built up to this crescendo.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a good look for our government in general. It really is. This big pot of money, and you can't even play nice, and you're in your 80s. Give me a break. Excuse me,
Yeah,
pardon.
well, and this money, I don't. It is the governor's prerogative.
Yes.
But out of all the problems, Joey, this is where you're spending your time. This is where you're spending your executive power. Not a good look. You're right at all. You find yourself sort of hoping that this continues on, so we at least could get some idea of some transparency here about what's really going on.
Now, shifting gears to federal elections, but right here in Alabama, Caleb Taylor wrote this up at 1819news.com, I believe, yesterday for y'all. Biden DOJ appoints district election officers in Alabama. So they appointed two assistant U.S. attorneys as district election officers for this general election. And they released this quote with this announcement. It's a quote from U.S. Attorney Sean Costello. Quote, "Every citizen must be able to vote without interference or discrimination, and have the vote counted in a fair and free election. Similarly, election officials and staff must be able to serve without being subject to unlawful threats of violence. The Department of Justice will always work tirelessly to protect the integrity of the election process." Man, am I off base? What I want to respond to emotionally, that is, screw you guys. Like, you're through this, you're accusing the state of this stuff. How many more decades do you get to do this? It's nonsense.
Yeah, and then that was my initial reaction too. Then I got started looking at some of this, and this is I think they're doing this for every state, a lot of blue states, and it's the same sort of boilerplate commentary. Maybe it's more aggressive than it's ever been, but they're not just picking on Alabama. Okay. If that makes you feel any better about it.
A little bit, but it's actually been a bee in my bonnet in the sense that I'm frustrated. I appreciated, for instance, the attempts by Wes Allen. I've been following this for a while, that the legal status quo in this country when it comes to voting is I think, imbalance towards openness. And it is not. There are a lot of folks, especially with millions and millions, tens of millions of illegals now in the country, who are worried about honesty in elections. Yes, we know it's illegal to vote if you are a non-citizen, but there's no way to verify your citizenship. And so to see that it's constantly the burden is on it, better be open, better be no interference, no suppression, but we can't even check if somebody's a citizen or not. States aren't allowed to. The feds step in. That's what's kind of driving my emotion today on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that's delegated to the states to handle, and they're not allowing the states to do it, or they're trying to. Best case scenario, it seems like they're interfering.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stop ranting about that and shift to something that makes me happy. What do you think and just in terms of a media event, not just the politics of it, of, say, Donald Trump going on the Joe Rogan Experience coming up. I guess it's reported this Friday.
I don't know. Joe Rogan's been critical of Trump, but Trump tends to hit it out of the park in these situations. I think. What's the last bad interview Donald Trump has done with anybody?
Right.
And sometimes it's just a Rorschach test, and it's what people want to get out of it. But if he performs well here, I don't know, how does the Harris campaign respond? Well, what do you make of that campaign, Joe? It doesn't appear like it's a serious presidential campaign at times to me. And furthermore, I'd say this: they're spending a lot of time on locking in voters that they should have had locked in 6 months ago. City of Detroit and M&M with Obama there, Hispanic voters. These constituencies that historically have been Democrat voters, they're having to deploy resources and make sure they're still there for the Democrats.
It comes across as not just Harris, but the people around her are a new generation of folks who can't seem to shoot straight. And it seems they are scrambling. And they've been scrambling ever since they did the switcheroo with Biden. And they did a heck of an initial push. But I think everyday people are seeing through it at this point. And the more she talks, even in a friendly interview setting, I don't think it helps her at all. And it's amazing to see, these, say, focus groups that even MSNBC is doing and how scathing people are against Kamala Harris. It does strike me as they've been scrambling since they ever got rid of Biden, and they haven't come up with a coherent strategy since.
Well, and this is what you need to know about presidential campaigns. Like, they start 2 years in advance, right?
Right.
As soon as the flag drops and we put the period on the midterms is when you start seeing exploratory committees, and you start seeing candidates hanging out at the Iowa Fair or the whatever they do in New Hampshire, the Polar Swim or whatever. But you start seeing campaigns being formed, and there's attrition, and there's sort of an evolution up until Iowa. And then if you make it through that stage, people come and go, and the campaign grows, and they start hitting their stride. And then maybe by midsummer, you have the chemistry, you're gelling, you're rocking and rolling. This Harris campaign never went through that, and I think it shows tactically with some of the things they're doing out there. That just are head scratchers. And
they really have moved off the joy message, and they've tried to go now to this Donald Trump's too crude, unbecoming of for the office, and all the things he says and the way he threatens the enemy within, and they're essentially calling him Hitler. It's trending on X today. Trump is Hitler, and my thought is, wait, I think you've called every Republican in the last few decades Hitler, especially successful Republicans. I just don't think it's going to work because it's an old, tried and true thing.
We're desensitized to it, right? I mean, we how many times do we have to go through this over and over and over again? But you're right. I would say this: they're throwing everything they can at Trump, but the problem they have, there's no consistency here. Yesterday, he's in his cognitive decline. He's not going to be a good president. He's dancing on the stage or whatever. And then the next day, he's going to be an authoritarian and round us up. And you're either like out Mr. Magoo and out of it, or you're Hitler. And there's, those are two very different things. And that's the problem. The media and the Democrats, they got to pick something and stick with it. They cannot do this. This is not. I don't think it's going to work no matter what they do. But it undermines their own argument when they just go from one thing to another.
Well, and I like too that the Trump-Vance team seems to be a pretty dynamic duo, and Trump started this, but really just smashing the fake respectability that's out there. These folks, that's so crude. You shouldn't say things like that. Whereas here, let me play a short clip. This was J.D. Vance sitting down yesterday with the comedian Theo Vaughn, huge podcast, and it's just two guys hanging out.
I don't know if I'd be sober if this stuff weren't killing people, to be honest with you. I know that's sad to say, but that keeps me out of the risk of it. It just makes it a little scarier. Yeah, that's the thing. It makes it scarier. Yeah. But it's also sad that somebody, this is ridiculous to say, probably, that somebody can't you know, you can't even do cocaine in this country anymore, you know? And that seems like a crazy thing to say. And don't say it. Don't say that. But I said it. But yeah. But don't say that anymore.
I'm gonna steal that line. That's after the election, though, man.
No.
And the point is that this sounds, the whole just tenor of the discussion is different and more relaxed and humanizing. I think in a way that whole interview was mostly talking about JD's mom's drug addiction and struggles. And I think that's something that, as they try to call Trump-Vance Hitler, the next dictatorship that's going to ruin the country and use the U.S. military against folks, you get to see this more human side of these people. I think the top comment on the top comment on that is, everybody told me this guy was weird. This MFer is the most normal, cool guy I've ever seen. So I think it just shatters their caricature they're building of this campaign.
I agree. I mean, like the McDonald's thing that Trump did on Sunday, maybe the stunt of the campaign. But, like, to me, it's that. Like, Trump's doing the blocking and tackling, and he's not as – it doesn't seem like he's as out there. It's just that the media are out there trying to talk for him, and I don't think that's working. But, like, their entire campaign for her is built on these stunts, these gimmicks. He does a gimmick every now and then, and it lands, though, right? The punch lands. And if you're, like, trying to build this, like, authenticity or this relatability or whatever, that's where they're looking at ways to do that and not just tear down their opponent. Now, the Trump campaign went in this direction, and we're just looking for gimmicks to tear down Harris and Walz. I mean, I don't necessarily think that works. And this campaign on the Democrat side, I know I'm a right winger and 1819 boy, talk radio and Breitbart, but I think it's one of the worst I've ever seen, and that's my assessment.
Yeah, and you can see it in the face of somebody like Barack Obama. You can just feel it, and even these panels where on CNN, Scott Jennings just owns the rest of the panel. Like, you could just tell reading in between the lines. But we'll see. Maybe we're getting out ahead of ourselves, but I have a pretty good feeling about this going into November.
I agree with that.
Well, I appreciate the time as always. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so, Jeff?
X.com/Jeff_Poor.
Well, appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow, man.
Thanks again for having me on.
Again, folks, Jeff Poor, always great having him here on the program. I mean, Eddie, what do you make of this? Like, just you and I are in enough. We're obviously, I'm the same age as your son, but we're still within the same demographic group where we watch the same thing.
We have a lot of likes that are very similar.
Yeah, and that's why I think we get along so well. But in particular, we consume a lot of this so-called new media in the podcast space.
Yep.
And it's so refreshing to see not just, so-and-so is on.
Yeah.
But the shows don't change. It's still Theo Vaughn's show. It's still the Flagrant podcast. I have a feeling it's still going to be Joe Rogan. It's not going to be some weird stilted thing.
We know Joe Rogan. Well,
right.
We've watched him well enough to know he treats everyone pretty much the same. You're going to get the same fastballs coming at you as anybody else.
And y'all know I've been hammering this, especially when I was looking at RFK Jr. when he was trying to run as a Democrat, that Bobby Kennedy kept making the point early on that his uncle wins that debate on TV. Like, when TV started to dominate over radio and newspapers, like, a lot of folks didn't see it coming. And so I think this very well might be the cycle, especially as you're seeing these numbers move. After a terrible debate by Trump, you're starting to see the numbers move. I think it's because of this new media environment that, thank God for Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
You now have free reign on X. And I think it speaks to so many different types of people who, at the end of the day, want something somewhat authentic.
That's my biggest reason I like podcasts. For one, it's not the clips. You get a couple minutes, so a person only has a couple minutes to answer a question. It's the long form. It's what I like. I get to know not only the host of the podcast, but the guest, and I get to watch their interactions. It's to me just so much more authentic than the news. I used to think the news was that way when I was a kid, and unfortunately learned that was not the case.
Oh, the news is not authentic?
It's not authentic.
I think there used to be a different generation that was a little better, but yeah.
But Walter Cronkite, and I could be wrong, but to me he was the last true journalist.
Cronkite?
Yeah. Yeah. When that man, and I was young, very impressionable, but when that man spoke, I listened.
Well, and I've heard things like Mike Wallace, like Chris Wallace's father. Mike Wallace, nobody could tell that guy what to do.
Right.
He had his own principles, his own integrity, and he was going to do what he did. He had his point of view.
Right.
But I like that independence. And some of that does seem to have gone away. And it's actually something J.D. Vance brought up in the Theo Von conversation, that so much of the media that you see, the reason we call it corporate media, is when you see a headline, or especially op-eds in the Washington Post or the New York Times, you're seeing this particular segment on cable news, and this goes for Fox News as well. It's usually somebody paying for it.
Yes.
Washington is a town, 90% of it is people paying people to say certain opinions. And there are very few folks who actually have their own independent opinion. Doesn't mean they're right about everything. I certainly don't think Donald Trump is right about everything.
No. That's the thing, though. He's a human just like you and I.
But he's going to say what he thinks.
Yeah. But another big reason I like podcasts, and I find them more authentic than the news, we've actually seen advertisers reach out to, like Theo Von, and say, hey, you cannot have him on there. He couldn't
they did it with Bobby Kennedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And Theo Von was able to give him the middle finger. And then that word got around to the point of Dana White threw out every Peloton piece of equipment he had in all of his gyms. I like that, because if that would have happened to corporate news, he would have been crushed. He would have done exactly what we
Well, and they tried to do that to Tucker.
Exactly.
And he's now bigger than ever.
Good point.
And you think about these folks, they're not as big as Tucker or Joe Rogan. Bill O'Reilly still has millions of people who watch him.
Yeah.
He's making bank still.
Yes.
Megyn Kelly, millions of people who watch her. Like all these folks, even Alex Jones, for the big F-ups he made around San Diego.
He's still got a heck of an audience, man.
He's got a huge following.
Yeah.
Like it is not possible, for better or for worse, to shut people up now anymore. I think in the long run, that's a very healthy thing. I think America has been living in this bubble that has been very controlled for a long time. And now folks are yearning for, yes, they want less inflation. They want to be able to own a home, afford a home. They want to be able to raise their kids without breaking the bank and breaking their heart at the same time. People want well-paying jobs. They want purpose in life. They want to get over so many of the pathologies, whether it's addiction to drugs or alcohol or just the general mental health crisis. There's all sorts of serious things under the hood.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even touching on, like, we'll get to it. BRICS had a summit, the BRICS nations. Putin himself holding up the new single currency that's going to represent BRICS. So there's a whole other serious conversation to be had beyond our domestic issues. But when you get to the more emotional side of people, I think what cuts across different demographic groups is there are folks looking for something authentic. Not something that's perfect, not something that's always going to be right, or no, they're looking for somebody who's like, well, he is who he is. She is who she is. And take it or leave it. I think that wins the day.
Oh, 100%.
At the end of the day.
Well, that's why I think not just with podcasts, but people in general that are generally authentic, truly authentic, people love them. They gravitate towards them. They might not agree with everything they say, but they go, you know what? I know who that guy or that woman is. I know who they are.
Right. And now here's another clip. This is J.D. Vance on with Theo Von. And there was a lot of back and forth. And really was, maybe I'm just childish, but it's refreshing to see a guy who's maybe, 6 years older than me, who, on occasion when he gets frustrated in a casual setting, drops the F word or says BS and actually says the words. That's how people talk.
That's right. That's how people talk.
Now, obviously, there's a time and a place where you don't want to say so-called blue words or terrible language.
Joey, they slip out sometimes. I've got passion in me, Joey.
Why must that always be the case? Why this fake etiquette and respectability in our politics? So I'm obviously not going to play on FCC radio stuff of them, dropping that.
Right.
But here's another clip that's quite interesting, talking about the vices. Like, because a lot of the discussions around alcoholism, drug addiction, what Theo had been through, what JD's mom had been through. And they started talking about what's going on in D.C. in that regard.
Yeah, I've got my head on a swivel, right? I'm always looking around corners. I'm always kind of worried that things that aren't exactly what they seem, but I think that's made me a little less comfortable, which is a good thing, especially in the political life that I now live these days. Yeah.
Talking about his childhood, how it affected him.
It's good to have your head on a swivel.
Hey, now everybody's an alcoholic.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Yeah, it's stuff like that where what's in the culture is not being controlled by the folks who have a long history and love being able to control the so-called message in the world. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. And they're at All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. They're ready to, help you some basic ways, like a checkup on that HVAC system.
Oh, yeah. Right now, this time of year, they really want them to come out and check your system because you're running it 2 different ways, probably twice a day.
Yeah, AC and heat.
Right. And not only that, though, you can get them to check out your breaker box while you're there. One of the things that people don't realize is when your AC or heat pump kicks in, it draws in a lot of energy.
Yep.
And you can have a bad breaker, and that breaker's tripping. You don't want that to happen when it's 32 degrees out, and then you have to wait and call. You can go ahead and check it out. They can visually look at that breaker and visually tell if it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's best to get the preventative maintenance done before you have a huge issue. I've had it happen both times, actually, in older houses I've lived in, just barely making rent, where, it's out during the winter.
Yeah.
That's pretty miserable. I think the worst in Alabama is when you hit the heat in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
I don't know how people used to live around here without AC. I don't. It's crazy. But they can help you make sure that you don't have that huge problem in the middle of the season. They've checked it out. Everything's in tip-top shape.
Right.
Of course, they also specialize in installing Generac generators there.
Such a good idea.
And as we've seen with the hurricanes that rolled through, this part of the country, the storms could hit. You could be out without power for a long time. We have a lot of tornadoes in this area.
Yes, we do.
Tornado alleys,
thunderstorms, man. They'll knock out, especially where I live, up on the lake. Man, we get a good thunderstorm, and you can almost guarantee you're going to lose power.
And so if you want to keep the power on, especially if you're a little more out in the county and it's going to be a while before they get the power back on, Generac generator is the way to go. And don't think of it as just a cost. It's like, I got to spend this much money to install a generator. Think of it as an investment in your home.
Right.
It gives you peace of mind, but it does up the value of your home.
Certainly does.
So y'all check them out today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Don.
Hey, Don. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good. No, I'm really not good. I'm so angry after listening to Kamala give a speech outside of the Naval Observatory. I could bite nails.
Yeah.
I mean, they get magazines like the Atlantic to put out a bogus article with no names attached, and then she comes on and Trump is now Hitler because General Kelly's supposed to say. Kelly put out a book a few years ago, didn't say a word about Hitler in the book, but now 13 days from the election.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing about the girl that was bludgeoned and killed at Fort Hood, the family, Gillian.
Yeah.
And they claimed that Trump said 60,000 was too much for a Mexican burial. Well, the family's voting for Trump, and they said that's all a lie. But they will say and do anything. But let me get to my main course here, right here.
Okay.
Y'all talked about Montgomery Whitewater yesterday, and it needs to go on because they jump in the ship like rats. I called my city councilman because the state has the law is for the cooperative district kind of supposed to be set up. It's got board members, and it's the board members that's supposed to be saying how Whitewaters are run. And each one of the city councilmen was supposed to put up a person on the board. My man says he didn't even put nobody up. He didn't have nothing. They all refer it back to Doug Singleton, like he's running the thing. But he ain't supposed to be running nothing because there's a board down there. And what I'm getting at is people need to start calling their councilman and get somebody on the Whitewater board that is not a member of the clique or a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Somebody to watch over this whatever it's going to be down there.
Well, and I really do think the state, whether it's the legislature pushing it, maybe the AG's office can initiate something themselves. They need to look into a forensic audit.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the best
But
way.
we also get with your councilman, get members on that board. They had 4-year terms, and they're terminating right now. Get people that will actually watch after taxpayer money. This is corrupt.
Yeah.
And we need to have somebody just watching the in out.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't in the city of Montgomery.
Agreed.
Well, we're going to keep talking about it. We talk about all sorts of stuff, but you're absolutely right. I hate this sort of crap. So,
but it's not one elected official supposed to be running Whitewater. It's a board, and the council and the county people, commissioners, are supposed to put people on that board.
But
so we need to
I
put
agree
the
with you.
people on the board that actually will watch over it.
Yeah.
And it's not a member of the clique. I don't know if y'all realize there's a clique in Montgomery that seem to be operating everything.
Yep.
Well, and that's the dirty little secret about most boards is like, yeah, you got a board, 8, 9 members, whatever, but there's usually 1 or 2 that are really running the show, and everybody else kind of going along.
But don't watch that thing by Kamala to make you puke. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just pathetic.
Appreciate the heads up there,
Appreciate it, Don. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Robert.
I love listening to your callers and stuff. He actually hit the very same thing I was calling about. I just saw Vice President Harris out in front of a government building, with the government still on there to make a statement, answer no questions or nothing, but come out and make a statement as a vice president of President Joe Biden. I mean, this is getting crazy, but she comes out, right, and just lambasts Trump like she's got all kind of generals on her side or something. They all come out and said, hey, existential, whatever. But,
And to make top general these days, you have to be such a political person, and all these guys know where their bread is buttered. And there are plenty of generals and top-ranking military officials and intelligence agents that would say they're backing Trump. I think they came out with a letter a week or 2 ago in that regard. It's this point in the election where it is throwing everything against the wall so it'll stick. And the basic premise is we're going to win and the other side is evil, is the message that will be hammered home until Election Day.
Well, Joey, thank you. You actually brought me down. I mean, I was kind of really incensed because this is my next question. And you really hit it good for me. I'm probably more excited than I need to be.
I've been able to hit that spot.
But what it is my next question, isn't that illegal?
What?
Isn't that the person that comes out and talks for the administration? They keep saying, well, I can't get into that because of that. I can't get into that because of that. I can't get into that because of that. But we got a vice president that can't tell me what she wants to do with this country, right?
Oh, right. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. The pandering, or you can say whatever you want in this country, especially.
No. On the campaign trail, don't get me wrong. She's got $1 billion. You can say anything you want on the campaign trail. But when you stand behind the seal of a government building, that's illegal.
No, if you use government resources for campaigning, that is technically illegal. But Robert, every president, including Trump, has done campaigning behind the seal.
But he did while he was.
Not president.
But he did while he was. It's something they've all done in the past. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I've kind of accepted it.
And, generals and military top brass, I don't like it. I think them putting their finger on the scale is not good for them and their credibility. But I think it's perfectly legal. They have a right to say what they want.
Right, but they don't care. But, Joey, I'm not bashing you and Eddie. Thank y'all for letting me bring up what was on my mind.
Of course.
And I love your show. And go, Joey and Eddie. All right?
Appreciate it.
See you, Robert.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out. Especially if you've been experiencing symptoms of lack of energy, motivation, and drive.
Yep.
You're always tired. Feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. You're also seeing a decrease in libido, just a fancy word for your desire to have sex.
Right.
All these combinations together. I'll be honest. I'm a client. They were freaked out. And this came in and they said, well, you feel okay? And I'm like, no, I always feel like crap. This was probably about 3-4 years ago. And I sort of just powered through. I've been trying to do other things to help myself out. And now I just got a score back.
Yeah.
Sitting pretty.
Break the
Cooking.
machine?
Cooking, baby.
All right.
And I feel it. I feel the difference.
Yeah.
And, I've asked about causes and whatnot, but there's a lot of different things with young men that might be causing this. But this is a natural thing that happens when you get into your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So if you're feeling these symptoms, I personally know for a fact Montgomery Men's Health can help you. They've helped me. And so go in, get a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And if you do have low T problems, they have treatments there that can truly change lives. I know these feelings for higher energy. Check. Better gains in the gym. You better believe it, brother. Better mental clarity? Indeed. Improved sleep patterns? Yes. Faster metabolism? Yeah, I've lost like 30-something pounds.
Nice. You
usually even notice an increased libido, which not saying much, but yes. That's there.
That's good to hear.
So you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For 65 years, Guardian Credit Union has been your trusted financial partner. And now we're proud to extend that trust further by introducing Guardian Insurance Services. Whether protecting your home, car, or even your business, we've got the coverage that fits your needs. Our team is here to guide you every step of the way with the personalized service you know and love. Call 334-819-7555 for a free quote today. Guardian Insurance Services, building on 65 years of trust, now safeguarding your future.
Christmas open house days at Cafco Outlet are coming soon. Shop Wednesday, October 30th through Saturday, November 2nd to take advantage of great deals, enjoy refreshments, and door prize registration. On Saturday, we have music by Brian Brantley and a designer demo by Karen Gresham. Want early access to the Christmas bargains? Shop now, because we've already discounted our merchandise to our open house prices. Shop now while the selection is at its best to avoid the crowds and the rush. Your best deal is at Cafco Outlet on the Wetumpka Highway.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Wake it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Our warmer, comfortable, late October amazing string of days continues, and still no raindrops in the cards for the next few days. More sunshine today, comfortable humidity, light wind, high 86. Clear, not as cool tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, very warm for October with a high temperature in the upper 80s. 86 Friday, 87 Saturday. Sunshine dominates. We'll have 50s at night. I think we're still dry Sunday, even though a front moves through the state. Temperatures down just a hair for a 79 high. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's the number Soldier Boy dialed.
Soldier
Hey,
Boy!
how you doing?
Hey, you want to talk about something, Montgomery?
Let's talk.
What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
You called
Who
us.
says that, Joey? Who says that? Who? You don't know what wrestler says that? Oh, my God.
No, I don't.
I didn't hear it from the delivery.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you want to talk about? I mean, it always comes out. Rhodes?
Randy Rhodes?
Dusty Rhodes?
No, his son. The one that's...
Oh, Cody Rhodes, yeah. Who finished his story, but he's still going?
Yeah, I never heard of him.
Yeah, he comes out and he says, what do y'all want to talk about, Montgomery? Hey, who's that general that used to be in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that little weenie butt?
Millie.
Millie, I tell you one thing. I'm gonna be politically incorrect here. Being an ex-military for 26 years, he should have been on the Fat Boy program a long damn time ago.
Do they still do that?
Okay.
Do they still do the Fat Boy program?
They got timeouts now in basic training. I don't know.
You're kidding me.
What?
No, my friend, his son just came back from basic training, and they said they got timeouts. They got a timeout if they get stressed too much.
Yo, Joe, I need a timeout.
Wow. See, we had a football coach at Catholic who changed the program for the better, and he said this summer program would be the hardest thing you ever do unless you go to boot camp. It sounds like that's changed now. Wow.
Well, you remember, put it this way, and when you had to go to a Fat Boy program, I think there'd be guys taking diuretics, okay?
Yep.
If they'd be taking whatever they had to. They'd lose water. They'd be in the sauna for 2-3 hours before they weighed in. I mean, they did what they had to do.
Where the trash
Well,
bags.
and my grandfather tells me stories of the Air Force, how it used to just be what you weighed, and you have to weigh a certain amount. And he said there's one guy, he was waiting in line to get weighed, and this one guy who was like 250, like, you're overweight, sir. The guy rips his shirt off and flexes, and he's like, what are you talking? Because he's just a rope, vascular. And
I know it's funny. You got to wear your uniform when you get weighed in, but it's so funny. Some of the guys would go in there, man, no underwear, no socks.
I bet.
And they'd be like,
I need every ounce I can get, man.
Every ounce, the rings, the glasses, they're all going off, buddy. They be.
Well, and it does. This is a point I've heard Victor Davis Hanson make a lot, is that, we have so many 4-star generals, and it's obviously much more of a political game. It ain't like, General Marshall or Eisenhower anymore. And it does. I feel like there's a disconnect between even, say, the everyday person in the military and, say, top
brass.
brass.
There is a disconnect between officers and enlisted.
Well, you got to remember now, check out the Air Force. The Air Force, the top 1% of the Air Force enlisted are Chief Master Sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
The top 2%, below the 1%, are Senior Master Sergeants. And the Senior Master Sergeant and the Chiefs have to go in front of a board, okay? That's where your clique group comes in, gentlemen. Trust me. I retired as a Master Sergeant because I wouldn't play along with the game,
Mm-hmm.
And this guy said, Master Sergeant, Soldier Boy, he says, you could have retired as a senior or chief if you would have played the game. And I said, well, let me tell you something there, Chief. I said, first of all, your wife's divorcing you, so she's going to get half of your paycheck, retirement check. Second of all, you got 2 kids underage and are going to college. You're going to be paying for that, too. And I said, so who's going to be taking home more money, me or you, at the end of the night? Master Sergeant's going to be taking more home.
That kind of attitude I had at Hyundai got me in trouble all the time. All the time.
What? They told you, Eddie, if you played along, you could move up?
Yeah, in so many words. And then I'd say, you know what? Let's compare paychecks. And these guys that would be 3 or 4 times over me, I would make 2 and 3 times more money. So why would I want to move up and take a salary when I can sit here and do what I do?
I told the chief, I said, it doesn't matter how much you make, it's how much you take home. Are you stupid, chief?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Are you stupid, sir?
I mean, you're supposed to be the top 1%. You're not really flashing it too good to me right now. What's this deal about all these generals trying to flex out on Trump for? Why don't you ask the recruiters down there, the Air Force, Army, Navy, recruiters, all these people, why their numbers are so low since Trump's been out? Their numbers weren't low when Trump was in office.
Yeah, you're right. They don't talk to your recruiters.
Well, I think part of that, too, is the legacy of the folks who came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, who are now older, have kids, and I think people have a bad taste in their mouth still about everything that's gone on, especially after the exit from Afghanistan, how that went.
Especially all your elite forces. They really do. Yeah.
I mean, I look at it this way. Look at those 13 that died in Afghanistan, okay? Those 13 souls didn't need to pass.
Nope.
Didn't need. Nope. And trust me, I got friends coming to me all the time. Hey, my son's thinking about joining the military. What do you think about that, Sergeant Soldier Boy? And I said, nope. He said, I thought so. He said, because it all starts with your commander-in-chief. Now, let me tell you something. Now, I'm still in shape, Joey. You saw me last time, Joey. I think you saw me.
Mm-hmm.
I still can fit in my BDUs. If the big Trumpster calls us out, you'd be surprised how many retired people put that uniform back on and protect this country.
I agree with you there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll put it on. But you think they'll put it on right now?
Nope.
Just send me my paycheck on the first of the month, baby. Give my retirement check to me, though, Joe Biden. Nobody wants to. There's no fighting force right now. We're weak. We're like the police department. What is it always about? Leadership, isn't it?
Yep.
It's always about leadership. It's not about the money. It's how you take care of your people. And you know what they used to tell us in the military, too? Take care of the people, and they'll take care of the mission.
There you go.
Because that soldier who's out there in that war zone, he's worried about his child. He's worried about his wife getting the proper medical, or she's pregnant, and you don't have to worry about anything. If we're going to take care of your family, you can focus on the mission and come back home in one piece and be successful at the same time.
And I think it's generally what's happening in the country is America did amazing, great things, especially in the war, in World War II, and right after. And we've been, I think, living off that legacy for way too long. And I think that's why these generals are doing this thing against Trump. Like they're appealing to that sense of honor and that people still hold, especially for, say, loved ones they lost. But I don't think it's the same country anymore. And there are folks who have served who just don't buy it either.
Look at the percentage of the people right now active duty, okay, that are going to vote for Trump versus vote for Kamala. Really?
Right.
Why don't you just sign your death warrant?
Well, y'all are just sexist. You don't want a woman bossing you around.
I don't mind a woman bossing me around.
Well, I don't know. Today, Joe, in the
all.
military, they got some colonels there that used to be men and then now they're women. So I don't, I don't know. I don't judge people like that.
Right. No,
as long as you're a good. Bottom line is, are you a leader or not, or a follower? Okay. If you're going to be a leader, be in a leading position. Okay.
Right. Well, no, that's just the excuse being made. Men don't want to vote for Kamala because they're sexist or racist. And the proper response to that is, well, you don't hate Trump, you hate Dad.
Excuse me, Joey, I'm talking. I'm trying to make a point.
Well, I got to hit a break, man.
I'm trying to answer your first question there, Joey, and your first statement there, but you keep interrupting.
Wait, did you grow up in the middle class?
Yes, I did. And damn, my yard looks good. I just got done cutting it and edging it. It looks really good.
Well, I got to run, man. I got to hit a break. Appreciate it.
See you, Soldier Boy.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today. We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and let's talk to Simpler Days.
Simpler Days.
Hey, Simpler Days.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon.
How you doing?
Hanging in there. Did you ever happen to hear the Pat Dye speech to the Auburn players when he met with them, when he took over the program?
Oh, man, remind me.
It's an old blood and guts speech. And basically it says that he tells them, we're not going to be able to recruit right now against Alabama. We're not going to be able to recruit against Florida. That's when Florida was really good right now. We're not going to be able to recruit against Georgia right now for those top players. But what we are going to do is to get players that love Auburn. And we're going to get players that want to work harder, sweat harder, stay longer, and then we're going to recruit those other players because we're going to beat their ASS. and you couldn't have that speech today in the with these kids now because you may hurt their feelings.
Yep.
And what about my money? And it's just like in the military. And it's just like in the police department and law enforcement now. And you were talking about the World War II people. Society is different, so different now.
Yep.
And I guarantee, if you watch that Notre Dame Navy game, and I love Alabama, but when they're messing up, I'm going to call them out. But when you watch that Navy Notre Dame game this weekend, you won't see Navy's players pulling off their helmets, kicking their helmets, starting fights with the other team because they have what? Discipline. And it's the basis of everything. And that's what Pat Dye was trying to tell him. I'm going to instill discipline in you. You're going to work harder. You're going to sweat harder. You're going to bleed. But we're going to be champions one day. And that's what's missing in society now.
Here. And it's not just missing, I think it's discouraged.
Yeah.
Often.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it's too easy. It's too easy to tell them that you're a victim and you can't do it. And did you see the settlement with the Biden-Harris Justice Department?
Yep.
Where they said in South Bend, Indiana, that the Firefighter Test was too hard because it had basic math on it.
Wow.
And one of the questions was, how much hose do you need? How many 6-foot hoses do you need to get to a fire that's 300 feet away or so ever? Well, my gosh, you're going to need math to figure things out the whole rest of your career.
Yep.
But in society now, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We want to make sure everybody gets a trophy and everybody feels comfortable. And there's a safe room right around the corner for you. Have a good day.
Appreciate it, man. 272-9228 if you want to call in like that. 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And there at Clearwater's, Reed Waters and the team are ready to help you with all things trees, tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. So there's a lot of reasons to get rid of a tree, especially if you suspect it's rotting, it's dying.
You're probably going to notice now, especially when leaves are going to start falling off. You're going to say, is that a dead tree or is it just dormant? Well, the dead ones are pretty obvious. It'll be deep
probably, if you're worried about it, it's probably true.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have noticed otherwise. And so get that taken care of. Get that tree removed before it falls on your home, falls on the carport or something. God forbid. And maybe you just want some trimming done. It could be branches hitting the side of the house when it gets windy. It could be you're tired of running through those branches every time you pull into the driveway, especially with your truck.
Honestly, maybe you got pine trees and the springtime's coming and those green pine cones are going to drop and you like to walk around barefooted and they eat up the bottom of some feet.
And of course, stump grinding, it's self-explanatory. Get rid of that ugly stump. They can get rid of it for you very quick. So call them up today. That number for Clearwater's Property Management, 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Israel needs to pursue an enduring strategic success after its tactical victories against Hamas, and he urges it to seek a deal that would end the war in the Gaza Strip and bring back dozens of hostages. 4 people have been killed, more than a dozen wounded today in an attack in Turkey at a state-run aerospace and defense company. Officials have not said what organization was behind that attack. Kurdish militants, the Islamic State group, and leftist extremists have carried out past attacks in Turkey. And Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin says there's growing evidence that North Korea is sending troops to Russia. Rough day on Wall Street at this hour. The Dow is off 380 points, NASDAQ down 279. This is SRN News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word prepare to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text prepare to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Our warmer, comfortable, late October, amazing string of days continues, and still no raindrops in the cards for the next few days. More sunshine today, comfortable humidity, light wind, high 86. Clear, not as cool tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, very warm for October with a high temperature in the upper 80s. 86 Friday, 87 Saturday. Sunshine dominates. We'll have 50s at night. I think we're still dry Sunday, even though a front moves through the state. Temperatures down just a hair for a 79 high. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane, across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police have launched a death investigation following a Tuesday morning fatal shooting. Police responded to the 100 block of Astor Drive near Wares Ferry Road about 2 a.m. Tuesday, where 23-year-old Richard O'Neill was pronounced dead at the scene from a gunshot wound. The circumstances surrounding the death remain under investigation. Following a Tuesday afternoon vote by the Alabama Board of Veterans Affairs to keep Kent Davis as the state's Veterans Affairs Commissioner, Governor Kay Ivey exercised her executive authority and immediately terminated Davis. The governor then appointed Jeffrey L. Newton as interim Commissioner of Veterans Affairs. A judge on Tuesday appointed a mediator in the long-running dispute over who gets licenses to grow and sell medical marijuana in Alabama. A medical cannabis program was approved in Alabama over 3 years ago, but thus far, the troubled Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission has failed to start the process. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hey there, this is Hannah Grantham with Forest Meadows Homes and Land. And since my partner Eddie Bader and I started advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting, we've seen the results from it daily. Blue Water Broadcasting has become a second family, and I recommend them to anyone looking to advertise their business.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load, and they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look, and they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
The songwriters that are successful are the ones that pay attention. It doesn't have to be a bumper sticker hook. It can simply be a concept.
Monty Criswell is a Mobilian. He's a songwriter in Nashville, and here's a partial list of people who have recorded his songs. Eric Church, George Strait, Darius Rutger, Morgan Wallen. The list goes on. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at whatsworkingcam.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is the Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program. I'm Joey. This is Eddie Bader. Is that a shirt that has a slice of pizza on the pocket?
Yeah. Somebody gave it for my birthday. I think my wife gave it for my birthday last year. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. They Portnoy shirt.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good. I like that.
But
by the way, he's like one bite, and you can tell if he likes it because he just keeps going.
Right. and the whole reason, it's funny, the whole reason he come out with the one bite, he's buying time because the pizza just came out of the oven. Right. And it's burning, and every one of them burns.
And what he bring Little Italy in Auburn is like a college pizza, like sloppy, greasy pizza.
Yeah.
Man, I used to eat so much of that stuff.
Yeah, when I sent you the video, you're like, I remember sitting out front.
3 or 4 of us, we'd sit there and drink pitchers and we were driving, so we'd get messed up and eat so much pizza. And good times there.
One of the things that I want us to do, and I sent you and Craig both the message, and I think it's going to be really good, is we get the GoPro and we go through a food festival and just tear it up. Like Dave did a fair one, and I think that
Especially
was great.
Craig. That boy can eat.
We've seen that's. I want to get Craig in this because that boy can put down some groceries. Ain't no doubt.
Let's go to Harris. Hey, Harris.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I was listening yesterday, and I had to hop into a meeting about 1:45. Did the mayor ever show up?
No. And his the guy who reached out to me to schedule it, said he insisted it was his fault. It was a scheduling mess up, but no, he did not show up.
Okay. Well, I thought it might have been the article that 1819 had on him yesterday about his little discussion on News Nation.
Oh, no, that was after the fact, so I don't think that caused that. But, okay. Yeah, I appreciated Craig Monger's call-out of, Trump can't make a joke about Arnold Palmer, but you say all this behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hey, I'm not – educate your middle-aged, gray-headed white dude here. I'm not real good on social media. Who is Leo Vaughn or whatever his name is?
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn.
He's a stand-up comedian.
Who is he?
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian out of Louisiana.
Yeah, grew up in Baton Rouge area.
Yeah, he's been in, I guess you'd say, the celebrity world since he was probably a teenager.
He was on that MTV show Road Rules, yeah.
And it's strange because I've seen him since then, but he is a deep thought individual. He's trying to find his way in life, and you can tell he's just really open.
Came from humble beginnings. We went and saw him at Impact when he came here to Montgomery.
He was hysterical.
And so he's a stand-up comedian, makes a lot of money with that, and his podcast, because he's so authentic and just an everyday guy, his podcast now gets millions of views. And it looks great. It's just
wow.
So he talked to J.D. Vance yesterday, but then he's like one I just saw. He talked to that chick, Jessie Murph.
Yeah,
who's a new singer upcoming.
2 weeks ago, he talked to a lunch lady.
Right.
Literally the lunch lady.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for educating me.
No problem, man.
It's a fun watch.
Yeah, it's a fun watch.
Y'all take care.
You can catch up some clips on YouTube. You can catch the short clips, and it's a good watch.
Now, there's some that we watch that I'm very certain, you're never going to see politicians on there, like YMH.
Yeah, they're just not going to do it.
Especially with the new Christina.
Yeah. They're just
which
not
you're like,
do
well,
it.
I know who that is. Sorry.
Yeah. But that's their world, though. I mean, they really run that world. They run the kind of the extreme end of it.
Yeah. The depravity of this country.
Yeah. And I couldn't see, even with Bert, I couldn't see Bert.
Bert and Tom, no.
No. I could see Tom if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But Bert is he's more of a clown than Theo Vaughn.
And these are all comedians. Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer. And then Joe Rogan is the one who essentially created this mold by accident.
Well, he caught it from Tom Green.
Yeah, that clip making the rounds is amazing.
Amazing, yeah. And
you can see the moment where Joe Rogan realized you can do this thing called podcasting.
You can see the wheels turning in.
And what's so cool about that story, because again, Trump's going to be on Rogan, I guess Friday. I'm not sure when it'll be released. Maybe they're doing it now.
I think they're doing it today, but released Friday.
But Rogan, that started as him and his comedian buddies hanging out in the green room.
Yep.
Throwing it on the internet. And most of the time they are wasted. And it really was their only sponsors were, pornographic, toys and stuff.
And beer.
And
that's it.
Yeah, it didn't start as a very highbrow thing, but what's crazy is it developed into, as Rogan especially got older, you get more curious about the world in all sorts of different ways. So you just started bringing on people that he was curious about.
Yeah.
So the show could be, I'm guest specific. I don't watch every Rogan episode. It's just not enough time.
No. It cuts 2 or 3 a week.
But it could be comedians on there. Then it could cut to an astrophysicist.
Yep.
It's all over the place. But I think that's what makes it so good. It wasn't about making money. It wasn't about putting out a show. It was just
conversation.
Him wanting to put out a conversation that he was interested in. And it shows. And I think we're in this new world again where it's not just Rogan now. There's a lot of folks who put in the work, also got a little lucky, and they're now the new media, I think. It is a new media elite that's rising. I was always wondering, is this going to play into politics? Because voters tend to be older. They tend to be still watching Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and ABC, NBC, CBS. But I have a sense that things are shifting very quick. And you're going to see, say, folks in our age cohort, like 30s, 40s, 50s, start to, change the game.
Oh, yeah. Well, with Rogan, even Fox regularly now, they have at least once every 3 or 4 days, they'll have some type of article that has Rogan ties to it.
Right. They know. Let's go to Charles the First. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Hey, Joy. Hey, Eddie. How y'all?
All right.
Well, you've been talking about earlier the governor and what she did as far as the Veterans Administration Director, Mr. Davis.
Yes.
And I wanted to relay a personal experience about the executive branch overreach that I had to face. Do you mind?
Go for it,
baby.
Well, my father, as I told you before, he was the enforcement director in 1989 of the Alcohol Beverage Control as far as the drug task force, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that, when they did an undercover sting, they would arrest them all at 3 in the morning so that nobody would tell another criminal and you couldn't get them. You follow what I'm saying now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can read about that in like the Birmingham News and all did articles about it. And when he was at one of these places, he found some information, and this ain't never been disclosed, that would have put Guy Hunt, somebody fairly close to Guy Hunt, in a bad position. And the governor wanted that information given to him, y'all, and my daddy wouldn't do it. And that's when he told him he was going to put him over the Emergency Management Agency. This was right before that tornado hit, days before that tornado hit Huntsville. Do you remember that, South Parkway?
I do.
Well, some of the board members told my dad he's just wanting to put you there. He's going to fire you, and you'll lose all your retirement and benefits because you won't be in law enforcement anymore. You'll be with the Emergency Management Agency. So, anyway, my dad flew with the then director that was going to retire, went back to the office and told Guy Hunt that he didn't like to see people lose their homes, and that he would just stay where he was. And the governor said, I have eliminated your position. It no longer exists. Daddy said, well, put me to being a supervisor over South Alabama. And he said, I'll put you to flying the helicopter until your retirement in September. Y'all, May the 31st, the helicopter crashed. Well, it didn't just crash. It hit power lines that stayed connected to the helicopter, so they couldn't even come because of the 50,000 volts to get to my daddy. And y'all, that was overreach.
Yes,
and
it was.
And not only that, a senator kind of underhandedly, that was also a dean of a law school, underhandedly did me and my brothers and sisters. And if you ever hear any sarcastic characters on Alabama Unfiltered Radio that's making fun of the governor's office, the senators, and the upper persons of state-run universities, you understand now the reasoning behind that sarcasm.
Oh, I hear you, man.
100%.
I hear you loud and clear. I appreciate you sharing that, too.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody hearing me out and hearing what I was talking about, but you just got to watch out for these people with cronyism and nepotism that's in office.
Yes.
Yeah, they ain't playing fair.
Nope. Well, thanks for that story, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Appreciate y'all.
See.
Now, we had, Don call up.
Yeah.
Great to hear from you again, Don. And talk about this Harris clip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Harris stepped out, and there's a lot of folks saying, is this just parody at this point? She calls an emergency press conference.
Yeah.
And she says, in effect, this. It's just about 40 seconds of it, and most we, I think, can stomach of this.
Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
Mm-hmm.
And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there, and no longer be there to rein him in. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want?
All right. Hot take.
Wow.
VP calling an emergency press conference. You smell that? That's desperation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if you remember, she tried to call our buddy down in Florida, the governor there, and kind of counsel him a little bit on how to do hurricane preparedness. And I guess he didn't take her call, and this is probably exactly why he didn't take her call. She's done.
Well, and then this idea, too, that, like, Trump's going to take ultimate power. It's like, oh, give me a break.
What? Define that for me.
Well, the most powerful presidents, think about it. Lincoln, FDR.
Okay.
It's wartime. And also, FDR had the rubber stamp Congress. But he could pretty much get whatever he wanted. Go read the inauguration speech when he first won. Right. He almost literally calls for a movement like I am summoning an army. So, like, don't give me, oh, this is so not American. It's like, no, there have been very powerful presidents. What they're essentially saying is he's going to be the new Hitler or Mussolini, which is just absurd.
Beyond absurd. He's already been there one time. Did he do that the first time?
No.
Why?
Well, but it was because of John Kelly that he was kept in check. Give me a break.
Yeah. Let's be nice.
And the folks who want power, unaccountable power, are the unelected a-holes who you don't even know their names, and they're pulling the strings on that puppet.
Thank you.
And they will call you every name in the book. You're sexist. You're racist. You're fascist.
At what point do you start leaning into it?
Well, that's the worry.
That's the thing. You're going to keep calling me that. You're going to.
No, and they act like Trump's it's the name most well. No, Trump's being advised by like Curtis Yarvin, like to be the next king of the. That's a joke. It's such a joke.
But these are the same people who couldn't believe, and they thought they would let the world know, that the McDonald's thing was staged.
Right. Like, wow. I could only take 40 seconds of that because that's just absurd. And no, here's MSNBC goes to Philly to talk to black GOP voters.
Oh, I'd like to see this, Joey.
And this is, well, I'll just play.
I got some friends in Philly.
Yeah, I got a cousin in Philly who is not voting for Trump. Love you, Jessica. Sorry about my politics. But still love you all the same. Here is, I think, Alex Wagner of MSNBC talking, kind of doing this focus group, everybody going around the table, asking about Kamala.
What are your feelings, and let me start with the women here, about Kamala Harris?
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification, the education to really run America, because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy. Right. Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that he's the vice president,
that's
to
just
you
the
is
bottom line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes. Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the name Kamala Harris, it was in association to locking up parents for truancy. That was the first time I ever heard of her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a black woman, but yet she's locking up black women and black men and separating families.
This is the thing that is, Trump talks about this a lot. He says, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient. Right.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. when she sworn into the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is, it's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view is, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
Man. That aired on MSNBC.
How would you have liked to have been the reporter, Joey?
Actually, that's an easy gig. You just ask people basic questions, and that room was ready to go.
I think you, or me for that matter, if we just had to be the cameraman and we walked into that room, we would feel a little bit.
Oh, I've been in rooms like that. I know what you're talking about, but no, I don't.
Got a cupcake place. I want you to meet me down on Day Street. We'll film you as you walk in.
Okay, fair enough.
The best cupcakes in the world, too.
Yeah, sure. No, like, I grew up here. Give me a break.
I got you.
What, you questioning my
your ability
my
to
experience?
handle angry black women? Yes, I am questioning your ability to handle angry black women.
Why would they be angry at me?
Because who are you? Bring your little white cute face in my barbershop, and you're going to ask me some questions.
Okay, yeah, I'm asking the question.
Right.
Like, if you don't want to answer questions, cool.
Right. Yeah, they already backpedaling.
No, she's like,
the voice is getting higher already.
I know, because you're immediately starting off on the wrong foot.
What'd I do? I just told we're walking in. We're walking in.
No, you do, like, preemptive, like, advance work. Like, we're going to do an interview here. Who wants to be interviewed? You don't just walk in and put a mic in somebody's face.
Put a mic in there, but you can walk in. This is America. It's free.
You're setting me up to lose.
No,
this is not fair. This is a rigged game. This is like 2020.
Bringing you in, you're kind of like the ringer. They're going to say, look at this little kid.
No, I remember I did political canvassing. I had to deal with that. Like, folks are like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a pretty good way. You can't win over everybody, but you can diffuse situations.
Next time I'm having a struggle at a listing, call in my buddy Joey.
Well, see, again, there's money at stake in that. Like, you're setting up situations that I can't. Like,
I'll tell him, hold on, let me bring in my specialist.
Right. No, and a little heat ain't a bad thing either.
No, and honestly, a little heat in the way you take it and the back and forth.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just like when we go to Jamaica and we're dealing with people in the market. They get ticked if they say, Joey, I want $5 for this, and you do not haggle with them. They don't want that. They want you to haggle. They want that back and forth.
No, I think honestly it sounds cliche, but if you treat people as people, and you just generally treat everybody with respect, it works out.
99.9%.
And I truly believe that if you like, oh, people hate me, you could go, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this. It's your sex, it's your race, it's the way you carry yourself, it's the way you talk, it's all this stuff. No, maybe you can't control what people don't like about you, but at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror and go, yeah, they probably hate me because of something I did.
Maybe
and
my actions.
When you come from that sort of place, it makes it easier to, I think, understand people, especially folks who are, hostile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever. Like, that's part of the world. Not everybody has to get along.
Agreed.
This is not Whoville at the end of the Grinch. Though I've always wanted to carve the roast beast. Let's go to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is T. Spear. How are y'all doing?
All right.
Interesting comment that she pulled General John Kelly into it. Does she not remember that they persecuted that man and imprisoned him because of his support for Donald Trump? Not because he had done anything wrong, but because he supported his president. If people do not sit up and realize that they will do that to him, they will certainly do it to you too. Sorry, Kamala, I ain't buying nothing of what she's selling. As far as her being a person of African American descent, she's not. She never has been. She never will be. She is 1/4 Jamaican black. She's not even really, if she wants to pull the race card, she needs to put all of her races on the table. As far as all those black women in, Philadelphia that are angry, about damn time that they got mad about their situation. I am absolutely thrilled that they are finally standing up and doing the right thing for themselves and this country by not getting on the Democrat plantation and being a political slave. Too bad Tuskegee doesn't do the same thing. Because that's all they are, a political slave. They are being used for their vote. And they are either too blind, too ignorant, or too stupid to realize it. And until we open their eyes to the fact that they're a political slave, they're going to continue to vote Democrat, even when it hurts their own self. I do not understand it. I will never understand it. The friends that I have who understand what's happening that happen to be black, they just shake their heads. There is no reason for it. Y'all keep up the good work. Keep up exactly what you're doing, Joey. Do not slow down. Do not back off. We need young people to understand what's going on, and you're doing a great job. So thank you much. Eddie, thank you so much for supporting him.
No problem.
I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Appreciate the call, man.
Y'all take care. Be careful out there, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I would add to T. Spears' list there that there's also people who just disagree. Yeah. And I've said it many times before, like, there's a lot of folks, your politics is almost decided by your temperament. Oof. Like stuff you can't control.
Yep. And that bothers me.
But it's just true.
Yeah.
It's how all human beings are.
It gets frustrating. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, history doesn't change overnight. It takes a while. People have these formative years, and they decide this is what has formed who I am. Mm-hmm. This is what I believe in. And it takes moving heaven and earth to ever present a change in that. Think about how difficult it is to change on, like, a bad habit you got.
Oh, yeah.
Personally speaking. But, you know, I really don't begrudge a certain generation that, say, came of age in the 60s and 70s of a particular point of view. Like, it's just how it is.
Yep.
World's complicated, folks. We need all types.
Ain't getting no easier.
And there's just something about elections where, again, the name of the game becomes we're going to win and the other side is evil. But if evil was just on the so-called other side, it would have been wiped from the face of the earth a long time ago. It ain't how any of this works. Obviously, I think Trump would be a better choice than Harris, the whole general direction of it. But I start to feel for everyday people who aren't really the ones in charge and who have a lot of choices made for them before they're ever given a so-called choice on the ballot. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey. Well, you know, I talked to Eddie about this the other day. About compelled speech. We're all having to say the right thing the right way, you know. We can't use certain words this way and that way.
Right.
And it has gotten to the point where I can't take it anymore. I'm just not going to take it. The latest thing in our industry, Eddie will tell you, is you can't say the words master bedroom and master bath. This emanated straight out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Straight out of Minnesota. Started there with the Realtor Association up there. You know, master bedroom, and I said something. Well, you know what? I don't know any of my black friends that even makes a difference to. The only ones that really is making a difference to are the little pasty white liberals trying to push it. But it's so much easier to just go along. Dang it! Just let me do my job and let me get my paycheck.
Well, on the
living I'm making here.
On those lines, like, Papa B, if in Minnesota, and there's some other markets, if you do put in master bedroom, you get instantly fined. There's no correction of, there's no, hey, you made a mistake. Hey, no, it's an insta fine.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's going to get that way nationwide unless people start standing up and saying something about it, because it is a direct assault on constitutional rights and privileges.
Yeah.
Cannot compel somebody to speak a certain way. You know, the term master bedroom and master bath has been around for time immemorial, perfectly descriptive of the actual room, and, you know, there's no reason to change it as far as I know. I've said so in the recent report. I'm using the term still, okay? But occasionally I'll have these whiny, or the companies that come back and say, no, you can't use that word. And I fight with them. I say, yes, I can use that word, and you can't tell me not to.
They push in primary bedroom or main bedroom.
Right.
Yeah, those are the terms.
Or just, bedroom. They don't want to hear anything about, bedroom. So anyway,
So ridiculous.
And, you know, in this particular instance, I have sort of a canned response waiting in the background just in case they just give me so much grief I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So about the third revision of this, when it went back and forth, they had told me, and I just copied and pasted their remarks in every, you know, revised report that I sent. And so I just had enough, so I just did my can thing. I changed it to primary. And then in the revision remarks, I wrote, the client has compelled the appraiser to drop the term master bedroom and master bath to change it to primary bedroom and primary bath. And they called me back up and said, well, yeah, but the term master
It's still on the report.
And I said, well, that's a shame, man, because I've been copying and pasting what you told me to take.
See, you're more professional than me, but I guess it's the job. But I would have been like, so which one, ma'am, is the superior bedroom?
That's another term they want you to use. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Nonsense.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. All right, so let's just say it's being sold to a black couple. Now, they're the master. Wow. What a perspective. If it bothers you so much, well, then you get to be the master. That puts your ego right there. So shut up about it all. But, you know, here's the thing. If I had a choice of not being in this fight, I would take it. All right? Because none of us really want this. Is what this is a word war, or WRD, word war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you feel the pressure. You feel the pressure. We all do. Look, the guy that just did my plumbing on the outside of the house, and he had to use a shovel to dig up a hole, right?
Yeah.
And he said, for that crepe myrtle thing I told you about. So he said he had to pull out a special shovel called a spade.
Spade.
He said, well, we can't call it a spade anymore. I'm like, what the griff is going on?
Yep.
So anyway, but here's my point. So, okay, if you just want me to change one word, fine. I'll change the word and now shut up and leave me alone. But they won't stop there. It's always something else.
It'll be next.
Something else and something else.
Once they get you to compel with that one word, then it's going to be something else. And soon it'll be your behavior. And then after that, it'll be the way you think. And it's a no ending.
Exactly. Eddie and Joey, I'm telling you, if you feel that pressure, that is the butt of the gun in your back.
Yeah.
The same gun that will eventually push you and shove you onto the cattle trailer. I am not kidding. This is a communist type maneuver where they change the cultures, they change the words, they tear down the statues, they do all this stuff. This is what we're up against. So I urge people, for heaven's sake, take a stand, do something. Don't just lay down and say, okay, well, let's do, we'll appease them on this side. And then there's something else and something else. So you got to stand your natural butt up and say something about it and do something about it. And when I put that in a report, I said, well, and I told them the last thing I said, well, your actions have been well documented, and I promise you this, when I get a chance, I'm going to take action toward whoever it is that compelled me primary bedroom, primary bath, instead of the words that are ordinarily used.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not effective. I'm telling you, man.
Right.
People start thinking about it. They do.
Yeah.
And they will. But anyway, you got to start somewhere. Start where you can. How am I wrong, Joey? Tell me how I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think part of it is just perpetuating the fight, and it's just part of me is like, I don't care. Like, yeah. It's more I know, and you just said that, like, at a certain point, it's like, I don't even want to have this stupid fight, but, I mean, some of it's also, it's individual people are just a certain way, and they come up with some way to gripe.
Well, also, though, Joey, a part of it is, it's in our industry, something we have to do. So we're having to adjust to it when we don't feel like there's no reason to adjust. We're being forced to do something ridiculous. Much like with radio, I'm sure there are regulation stuff that they have to go through where you're like, this is ridiculous. We're going to do it, but this is incredibly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Goes back to how many bureaucrats.
Well, see, and here's my point.
But I think it's because the rules around real estate are retarded.
Yes, they are.
Excuse me, pardon me. No. It's such a crony insider game. Not talking about you two. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now y'all don't have to say a word about it. But and it's not just that industry. It's so many others.
Yeah.
Where you have all these middle managers, folks that they don't do squat.
Boards.
And they get plenty of money. And that's how a lot of this stuff's how doctors were controlled during COVID. It's just it's
very good point.
And until people say, fine, I'm willing to lose my job and I'll do something else with my life. I think,
well,
that's easy for me to say, but
I will say this, since the Biden administration has gotten in, the war on realtors started.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had it. There's not a government industry out there or a government entity out there that I know of that is out to control your wages, anybody else's wages. They literally came into our yard, and they have made it so difficult. It's almost impossible.
Well, I gotta hit a break, man. I appreciate the call.
Okay. See you, buddy.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or you're looking to refi.
Yeah, man.
And refinance is what a lot of people are thinking about these days with interest rates moving.
Dumbled down just a little bit.
And it could be you're still on the fence. Well, what you need to do is just have a conversation with Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage and understand when you need to pull the trigger. They'll get to know you, your goals in refinancing, and just give you what you need in order to make the decision. And if you do decide to refinance, their turnaround time is second to none. The average is remarkable. It's like just slightly over 2 weeks, like 16 days, something like that.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And it's a great way to, get yourself in a better financial position, or maybe you want to take cash out to reinvest in your home, reinvest in your family. It's all sorts of reasons. You built up this equity in your home. It's yours to use as you wish. But make sure you do it the right way, and that's where Kim and Madeline come in at Alabama Home Mortgage. Call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are the 5 steps you'll have to take to buy a home in this market. First, it's so important to get pre-qualified through a local lender because to get an offer accepted, you will have to have a written pre-approval letter submitted with your offer. Second, it's critical that you identify the 3 most important must-haves with a house, including the location where you want to live. Third, always hire a professional buyer's agent that will represent your best interest and to be looking out for your interests, not the seller's interests, through the transaction, working on your behalf all the way to the closing. Fourth, hire the best home inspector you can find. Let him identify the issues with the home. Let your agent negotiate on your behalf for needed repairs. Fifth, close with a top-notch closing attorney's office that will examine the title, provide you with title insurance, and give you good title in the future. For a complete list of buyer agent services, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Want to take the price of new flooring and tear it in half? You can during Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, going on right now. Save 50% on select luxury vinyl plank and select carpets in stock. Stop into the store to register to win a brand new quartz countertop up to 75 feet until November 20th. No purchase necessary.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Shop now and save big at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or
205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Hi, everybody. Our warmer, comfortable, late October, amazing string of days continues, and still no raindrops in the cards for the next few days. More sunshine today, comfortable humidity, light wind, high 86, clear, not as cool tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, very warm for October with a high temperature in the upper 80s, 86 Friday, 87 Saturday, sunshine dominates. We'll have 50s at night. I think we're still dry Sunday, even though a front moves through the state. Temperatures down just a hair for a 79 high. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get 0% financing up to 48 months with approved credit. Now on select Kubota track loaders and excavators. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to join the conversation. Let's go right to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
I ain't doing good, Joe. Y'all trying to throw me off, man.
What do you mean?
Y'all trying to throw me off.
I'm not trying to throw you off anything.
Yes, y'all are. Yes, y'all are.
No, I am not.
With this foolishness, cause I've been sitting here listening now for the last few weeks. I've been listening. I haven't been saying much, but I mean, when I saw John Kelly last night, what he said, and others have said, Pence has said, many more Republicans, conservatives, all in folks said for the last several months or so. Okay, I seen them on the tube with my own two eyes. I listened to them. Okay, with my own 2 ears, okay? Then, for people to come out here and tell me that, who you gonna believe, what I seen or my lying eyes? Come on, help me out, George.
Why do you trust all these folks that were willing to work with Trump? Why do you trust them all of a sudden now that they're on the outs?
No. I've been seeing this ever since he's been in there. He turned over so many people. But what I'm saying, everybody that worked for him in the past, okay, everybody, all of these people lying on Trump. That's my question.
Yes, a lot of them are.
Most of them lying on Trump.
Yes.
So when I saw what's the guy, the Speaker of the House, what's his name?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. When I saw Mike Johnson, when this guy kept playing the clip over and over and over for this boy, that Trump was saying the enemy within. This boy says that Trump wasn't saying that. He wasn't calling no names or nothing like that. Damn it, the man's played it for him 500 times. This idiot sat there. Trump should have been talking about something else instead of talking about people love muscles. He should be talking about some of these cats out here with testicles because they damn sure don't have it.
Well, I'm sorry, but these folks that have shredded the Constitution and ruined American lives are the enemy within.
I got you on that, but...
And everybody takes that and go, no, Hitler's right around the corner. How about, no, y'all don't have a job anymore? And maybe the way we've been doing things General. Maybe the way we've been doing things hasn't worked out and has screwed people over, and we're pissed about it.
But Mr. Joy,
And they're doing the same crappy tricks a few days before the election. Let's have somebody where we can do our prestige. Let's get the expert out here to talk about how good the vaccine is. Let's get the expert from the military out here to really get into people's honor and their feels. It's crap. It's from the same reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg at The Atlantic, who lied us into the Iraq War. He's a piece of crap. These people are not good people. They are awful people, and they're not creating good outcomes for this country. I like it when somebody says, you're the enemy, you're the problem, you're fake, you lie, and lie again, and you act like you're some of the best people in the world. You're gonna get yours. You're gonna get yours.
Joe, you done?
No, I'm not done. Screw these people. Why do you believe them for 1 second?
Let me give me one, two more lines in here while you talking now. We barking today, boy. I love me and you bark. Come on, let's go. Some more. Mr. Joe, at the end of the day, sir, I don't want my damn intelligence insulted, okay? When I see stuff, this. I respect all elections, okay? I would have observed Nikki Haley. I would have observed whomever the Republican had on their side, okay? I observed Trump over and over and over again. I observed Kamala over and over again, okay? But at the end of the day, Trump's side confused the hell out of me because this guy all over the damn place with all this craziness and foolishness and all that. And I got to feel comfortable who I vote for, okay? I'm going to feel comfortable about Trump, period, right now, okay? So, damn it, people respect that. And respect the fact that people are intelligent enough to see smell a pile of it a mile a damn way. I don't have to put my hand in it or lick on that end of it, okay? I can smell it and see it. Now, Mr. Joey Clark, can we respect each other enough to not
I don't have a
think
problem.
people damn stupid?
I don't have a problem with you, Duke.
Regardless of what side, I'm talking regardless of what side people are on. When I see stuff on TV, when I see these people trying to get into the White House, and trying to tear me a big old pile of it. Hey, I can go back in the damn toilet and get some boop boop. I want some boop boop.
No, the corporate press is the enemy of the people.
But these people out here pushing these lies like this man, Mike Smith, sitting there, whatever the hell his name was, Mike Johnson, sitting there lying and. I mean,
no, Mike Johnson is not lying. Mike Johnson is calling out the BS framing of the question. The same question all these operatives come up with in the back room, and then they filter it into the news like it's some wonderful thing. No, you take the same quote, and then you add, what's the connotation?
No, Trump came out and clarified what the hell he meant. When he said it over and over, the thing about it, Trump, very, very raw, and he's going to come out and say what he want to say the next day. So they can stop trying to take up for this cat. That means he's going to do what he's going to do. So don't tell me I didn't hear what the hell came out of his mouth. That's disrespecting people's intelligence.
It's not an argument over the literal quote. It's the argument over what it means.
But get back to these.
That's what most of this is, Duke. That's the whole point. Most of this, you hear the same thing, and they train people to think a certain way about the same exact quote.
No, each individual got to use common sense. I'm doing it individually now. I ain't speaking for no damn group, black group or green group.
No, I didn't say you're speaking for a group. I'm saying folks have been trained by corporate media to look at certain exact quotes and accept the connotations.
All Trump supporters and the ones that are going to follow you, they trained to David say what the hell you wouldn't need to say. Like the vice president guy. He's scared to death to say what the hell's on his mind about the election.
What the hell are you talking about?
What's the boy, Vance?
Yeah, Vance has said it over and over again.
No, he's scared.
He said it over and over again. They just ask him again and again and again because that's what they want the election to be about, because the corporate press are not objective referees. They want it to be about all sorts of things. They load the dice.
And we need people running to be in the White House. Damn, answer the question yes or no. Don't come give me something about them and what the hell you ate last night. I don't want to hear that. I wasn't the question.
J.D. Vance has answered that question so many times.
He answered because they kept messing with him about it. I almost said F word then. They kept on messing with him about it. See? But, Joey, back to the sisters, that the black folks that are talking about Kamala ain't this and that.
Yeah.
We had 45 white presidents, including the last one that were white. Hey, they did nothing special for y'all black asses. So don't expect nobody to do nothing for you. All you need is
What makes you think somebody that looks like you is going to do something?
They want a damn.
No, seriously, what makes you think? And how many?
What did Obama?
How
do
many
for the
white people have been screwed by white
Obama-
presidents,
what Obama
dude?
did? What
Give me a
Obama did?
break.
He-
It's
he-
stupid.
He handed Trump a damn good economy when he left out after 8 years. First 2 years, economy did.
No, we didn't. It was the most anemic growth ever.
Nah,
you guys have.
No, Obama brought us hope and change. No, he brought us debt, war, and more of the same. He's just another puppet. He promises heaven and earth in 2008, and we pull on everybody's heartstrings that we're bending the arc of history towards justice, and it's more of the same crap. Just a different face. It's the same people running Bush foreign policy or running Obama foreign policy. It's the same folks and lobbyists spending us to death. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. They're all corrupt bastards. Not the everyday person. This same clique of people that have the same bag of tricks. I'm tired of it. And I know I'm not alone. You're not fair, you're not honest, and you're just as power hungry as Donald Trump or anybody else. And you're willing to upend entire nations, shred the very social fabric and contract of this country that you constantly hail. Ah! And I'm tired of it. We'll be back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
That's always good to hear. I was just thinking about how I'm doing. But hey, what's this?
How are you?
Hey, don't even.
Inquiring minds want.
Pissed off right now. Thank you, Duke.
And your girlfriend hadn't even won yet.
So, what's the score there at Cohen's today?
21-7.
Oh, nice.
You know, we are so fortunate that we have customers that bring in other customers or future customers that have never shopped here before to shop with us. And anyway, we're just thankful for that. Eddie brought by a nice lady to get some appliances for a house that he had sold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the word of mouth. It's the public that goes out and they actually do what they can to help us make sales and continue to do good business in the Montgomery area. But we get, there's you can't buy this. I mean, I can buy a spot on your show, but I can't buy the goodwill that people like Eddie and others that have brought in customers or future customers to be customers of us. I had a couple in here yesterday that been shopping with us since we were in Normandale, and they're having some problems with the refrigerator, and and she's like, we need some help, but I don't want you to go out of business. I want you to be here. I want you to, so we can continue to buy from you, and it's a wonderful feeling to have those types of customers, and we're thankful, blessed.
Well, and I would include myself in that list. Y'all are fantastic, great products, and as a customer myself, incredible service. And folks, if you want to join the Love Fest, join the Cohen's family. You're going to enjoy it. ThinkCohens.com if you want to shop from home, but there's nothing like stopping by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. See the team, get to know them in person, see these products in person, nothing like it. Especially if you're shopping for a big TV. You want to see the big TV in person, not on your tiny screen.
No.
And then, of course, it's 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to tell them you heard Michael here on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Fantastic. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank
Michael.
you, Michael. We got to enter top of the hour break.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. The White House using very cautious wording right now, but there is growing evidence North Korea has sent literally thousands of soldiers to Russia. A spokesman says it is further proof the Kremlin has, in his words, suffered massive casualties in Ukraine. Meanwhile, both Russia and North Korea have denied any troop movements. Of course, nothing is official as yet. However, there is growing fear in Democratic circles that the presidential race could now be slipping away very quickly from Kamala Harris. FEMA is taking fire for its increased focus on migrants and DEI policies. That, while its response to recent hurricanes remains under scrutiny. And huge losses so far today on Wall Street. The Dow right now is down more than 400 points. This is SRN News.
The Pope is dead. From Focus Features comes the electrifying new film, Conclave. We're about to choose the most famous man in the world. Based on the international best-selling thriller. The Pope discovered something before he died. Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci. Ambition becomes corruption. John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini.
We sisters have eyes and ears.
Top critics are raving. Conclave is hands down the best picture of the year. I had to find the truth. Conclave, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters this Friday.
What are you going to do if Kamala wins? Moving to gold now is an option. At Premier Gold, we specialize in helping those with a 401k or other types of retirement accounts convert their vulnerable paper assets into physical gold. Today, we'd like to send you a free gold election kit to help you decide if this is right for you. Call 606-800-8000. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. Our warmer, comfortable, late October, amazing string of days continues, and still no raindrops in the cards for the next few days. More sunshine today, comfortable humidity, light wind, high 86. Clear, not as cool tonight, low 56. Tomorrow, very warm for October with a high temperature in the upper 80s. 86 Friday, 87 Saturday. Sunshine dominates. We'll have 50s at night. I think we're still dry Sunday, even though a front moves through the state. Temperatures down just a hair for a 79 high. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
A Montgomery County Circuit Judge has placed a mediator within all of the medical cannabis litigation that is going on here in Alabama. Retired Judge Eugene Reese was appointed to that position by Judge James Anderson. The purpose of appointing a mediator is to seek resolution to all the lawsuits filed against the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission, which happened ever since cannabis licenses were distributed in 2023 by the commission. Businesses that did not get a license then launched lawsuits against the commission's process of choosing. The medical cannabis program was first passed into law by the Alabama legislature back in 2021. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
November 15th, you can have dinner with Eric Metaxas right here in Alabama. Metaxas, the author of Bonhoeffer and Letter to the American Church, will keynote 1819 News' first annual Albert Patterson Gala on November 15th at the Barber Motorsports Event Center in Birmingham. To learn more and sponsor a table, visit 1819news.com/gala. Again, that's Eric Metaxas on November 15th. Go to 1819news.com/gala to learn more.
An arrest was made of a Priceville man following the shooting death of his ex-wife this past weekend. 33-year-old Zachary Merriman is facing 6 charges of burglary, trespassing, and theft of property after Kimberly Ricks was found shot to death at her home. No charges related to the actual shooting of Ricks have been issued against Merriman. A Baldwin County jury has acquitted a woman of murder charges for a 2020 death in Loxley. Shonda Turner was found not guilty of intentional murder in the death of Tamika Richardson. Lawyers for Turner revealed that their client never had a gun in her possession at the time a dispute arose between Turner, Richardson, and other people. That is when multiple guns were fired and Richardson was killed. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the final hour of the program. I've been trying to get my anger under control. You know, I told you earlier, Eddie, I'm cooking when it comes to the testosterone now. Sometimes it shows. Thanks, Duke. Love you, brother. Hey, we got a breath of fresh air here. It's a voice we haven't heard on the show in a while. We have Stephanie Holden Smith. She is the president of the Alabama Policy Institute, and join us to talk about a big state issue that just won't seem to go away. Stephanie, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on for this zombie issue. Normally it's gambling that I describe as the zombie issue, but this is another one, Medicaid expansion.
Yeah, so for folks who haven't been following in detail, it's been proposed in 2 different ways to expand Medicaid?
Yeah, so there have been 40 states who have fully expanded Medicaid thus far, and there are kind of 2 different directions that expansion states go. I would describe it as expansion and then expansion on steroids, because really you can't expand Medicaid without basically signing away, your rights to the federal government. But there's this other renaming of it, which is a public-private partnership that a couple of states have tried. But you have to expand Medicaid first and then create this public-private partnership, which is basically Medicaid expansion in name only, but that it adds a layer, meaning that the federal government, instead of paying in directly to the state Medicaid agency, would go through a private partner, presumably Blue Cross Blue Shield in the state of Alabama, and send the federal dollars through the conduit of the private partner, and then that eligibility would go through Blue Cross instead of through the state Medicaid agency. But you have to expand Medicaid first in order to have a public-private partnership.
Okay. And as looking at what's happened to other states, especially how it's actually put them on the hook for more money, especially down the road, and the attempts to do the private-public partnership. When I look at y'all's report, especially that private partnership, public partnership hasn't worked out too well for the states that have tried it, it seems.
Yeah, our analysis really focused on the state of Arkansas because we're kind of similar states. Iowa has also tried it. New Hampshire has tried it, and they both have abandoned the idea. But Arkansas is still in the throes of it. And so they expanded Medicaid about a decade ago. And then they tried this public-private partnership as a way to salvage their program. But what they have figured out is that instead of about $260 a month to pay for people in the Medicaid program, the public-private option is costing them $660 per month per patient. And so their projections were way off on how many people would actually try to enroll in the program, and then also their projections were off on how much it would cost per person. So it's absolutely exploding their budget at this point.
Because a big selling point of this, proponents of expanding Medicaid will often say, well, the feds will take over more of the money being sent in, but it would leave the state of Alabama expanding Medicaid from their own revenues in the general fund, right?
Right. So since we have two budgets, we have the and I'm sure most of your listeners know because you talk about it, but we have the Education Trust Fund budget, and then we have the General Fund budget. And the General Fund budget is where Medicaid dollars are spent, and basically everything else is not education. So right now we have about 1.1 million people in the state Medicaid program in the state of Alabama. The list of people of who that covers is basically parents, caregivers, the elderly, the disabled, all children. So it's basically the people, I would say, this is my opinion, who need it.
Right.
And then there is a deficit of people, supposedly. There's what's called a gap in coverage of people who are not employed or don't have insurance through their employer. That are not disabled, not a caregiver, not a mother, not a child, who, there are about 200,000 people who are in that gap. And so this is an attempt, the expansion is an attempt to have the federal government come in and pay for those people's medical insurance. There are a couple of problems there. You and I are kind of contrarians and more libertarian-minded. The first question is, whose responsibility is it to pay for these folks, medical insurance?
Right.
We're not talking about accessibility. We're not talking about, letting people die in the streets and, padlocking the doors of the ER. Not talking about accessibility. We're talking about who pays the bill. And so the question is, who should pay the medical bills of people who are of age, who are able to work and are not disabled, are not full-time caretakers, are not in a nursing home, are not elderly. So basically it's people who can work or could work, but aren't working. And so the question is, should we expand the state program to cover them, or should we expand and fully expand, the federal program and allow the federal program to circumvent the state program? Or should we expect those individuals to actually go and become employed and expect businesses to also allow for insurance as a benefit in their businesses?
And the folks that this would apply to in terms of the income bracket is slightly above 20 grand.
It's a sliding scale depending on your status.
Okay.
So basically, it's everybody who's not on that list, the caregiver, elderly, indigent list. But it's 138%. The federal standard it's not a state standard. The federal standard is 138% of poverty.
Okay, and it strikes me, and y'all really get into this in the report, that it creates a huge disincentive to work, say, for the able-bodied, the folks that could get out there and work. They could have their medical, say, covered, but they don't really have to go get a full-time job.
That's right. And it also disincentivizes businesses from offering insurance to, part-time employees or full-time employees who, make less than X amount or aren't in the CEO suite, because the idea is, well, we don't have to offer this as a benefit because the government is going to pick up the tab. And so the problem from our perspective is we don't believe that it's the government, state or federal. We don't believe it's the federal government's responsibility to pick up the tab for those who won't work. And then also there are the tentacles involved with having such a huge federal program operating within the confines of the state.
Yeah, but why doesn't the issue go away? As you said, it's the zombie issue just won't go away. What is it with our, say, state leaders, elected officials and not, that they keep wanting to do this?
I mean, being frank, it feels like free money. So the federal program offers basically what I would characterize as a balloon loan. So they give you money up front, they give you, quote, the benefits of it up front, and then they tell you later how much it's going to cost. So, it seems like we're, quote, rejecting federal money or not taking federal money. And people equate federal with free, which is nonsense, but that's a conversation for another day. The federal money that is possible for the state to take for these 200,000 some odd people in the state who are in this gap feels free because it's not coming out of the state budget, or 80% of it's not coming out of the state budget. But the problem is this: the federal government's on an unsustainable path.
Yes.
It's specifically as it has to do with Medicaid. So the responsibility will always lie with the state. And so they're paying a high percentage now, but the percentage will decrease as we move. And as the percentage increases on the state budget, it will completely decimate the general fund budget. Right now, we're paying about 30% of the general fund budget on Medicaid just for our state Medicaid, and it would easily eclipse the halfway mark quickly if we expanded into the federal program.
You're right. The federal government is definitely on an unsustainable path, and yet they want to keep expanding. And it also makes Alabama and any state that accepts this beholden to who's actually in charge, because I could see somebody in this state, in the state legislature or the governor's office saying, well, we'll put work requirements on. That'll address the labor participation thing. But I believe this administration, the Biden administration, said you can't do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Georgia has tried it, got rejected. Arkansas tried it, got rejected. So the idea is that in some of these expansion states, they said, okay, we want to expand Medicaid, but we want to create some accountability for the people who are going on the system. Have them, require them to apply to 3 jobs per month or be employed, 3 months or 6 months or 18 months into the program. And the Biden-Harris administration said, no, absolutely not. You cannot create work or seeking work requirements as it relates to the Medicaid program, because they want it to be a giveaway. Right. And they want it to be a taxpayer-funded giveaway. And so as long as they're there, we know that those work requirements are impossible. So you're actually disincentivizing people to find a job. And if they're on the program, let's say we expanded it, and then there are 200,000, Alabamians who are on the program, they would actually lose their health coverage if they got a job.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's sort of the classic welfare trap, but on steroids, especially with medical. Wow.
Well, and keep in mind, again, that list of people who are already covered. The disabled are already covered, the elderly, everybody in a nursing home, all mothers, all caregivers, all parents who are caregivers. So you have a list of people who are already covered in that 1.1 million people who we're currently covering. It's the able-bodied, mainly men, who are not covered, and the motivating factor to get on the coverage is so that they don't have to work. And that is not something that is an Alabama value. And so we are just trying to make sure that everybody understands it, and that the legislators who have held the line for the last decade or more on this issue are in the right.
And do you think they're going to continue to hold the line? Or, well, let me ask it this way. Could the governor do this on her own?
We believe that the governor could do it on her own, but I think that she's being very responsible. The conversations that I've had with members of her staff about this really are in line with APIs, which is we don't know how much this is going to cost. We do think that it would eventually have such a negative impact on the general fund that it would be unsustainable. And why would we sign up for a program that is unsustainable and that we cannot control? Because once you sign that, the federal government is in control, and whoever's in charge of the federal government is then in control of your health plan in your state, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Again, folks, we've been talking to the president of the Alabama Policy Institute, Stephanie Smith, and if folks want to read this report for themselves or check out other things that y'all have coming out, other studies and breakdowns, how can they do so?
You can find all of our research at alabamapolicy.org, and then we're on all the social media outlets as well.
Well, I really appreciate your time. It's nice to talk state issues in the midst of this federal election. I mean, just before you go, what's your temperature on this? How do you feel about this election coming up in November at the federal level?
I mean, everything that I'm reading is dead heat. As you know, it really doesn't matter what the vote is in Alabama.
Right.
And it's those key states, and it's the counting in the key states. So I think it'll be not only what's developed into a long night. I think it may be a long few weeks, or maybe even longer before we have a determinable outcome. And so that's one of those things that's really frustrating. You're younger than me, but that was not a thing.
Right.
And it shouldn't be a thing. We're a highly sophisticated country, and we should be able to do elections well. And so we should know the night of the election who our next leader is, and that I would be very surprised if that happened.
And it's become a theme I've noticed. Like we're talking to, of all people, Senator Britt admitted, the whole way legislative process, these omnibus bills in the federal government is completely screwed up. And so I asked her who benefits. And it's clearly it's leadership, it's sort of insiders and lobbying class of sort of folks. And I think that applies to any sort, when you see a problem like what you just described with elections, it makes me start thinking there's a group of folks who like the uncertainty, and they use the uncertainty or the dysfunction to their advantage.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen in spades the last several years that fear is a very high motivator, and uncertainty and fear drive markets. They drive human behavior, and I definitely think that fear within elections is something that people are profiting from for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, it's great talking to you, Stephanie, and just hit me up if anything else you want to bring to people's attention on here on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Jay.
Again, folks, that's Stephanie Smith, president of the Alabama Policy Institute. Like I said, nice change of pace after the end of the last hour. But no, it's, when you cool down, you start to think about why so angry, why so frustrated. It's because even if Trump wins, I know that there's going to be a lot of these folks who are awful.
Oh, yeah.
Who will not go away anytime soon. In fact, they will do everything within their power to make things even more miserable for Americans try to get their way.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not to sound too nerdy. Remember the show Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And it was really great.
Shame.
Until they had to I even enjoyed the last season, but not. It was they sped it up. They really screwed up after having an amazing.
By kind of fast forwarding.
Yes, yeah. And things like, are they going to show up? And all of a sudden, you've traveled thousands of miles within 5 minutes. Like it didn't add up. It really was kind of I called the ending, but the way they jumped into
disappointing.
it was very disappointing. It wasn't natural. It seemed like a theme park ride at that point. But, the early seasons that are more dialogue-based, more about political intrigue.
Nudity.
Remember the character Littlefinger, and what's the line everybody brought up? Chaos is a ladder. There are plenty of folks, and you think, that's just a fantasy world. No. There are plenty of folks that would love to see dysfunction, and that's what we currently have. This idea that Donald Trump's the cause of dysfunction. No, the dysfunction's been going on for quite some time, long before Trump.
Correct.
It's just that dysfunctional system reacting to him, that they use that dysfunction, they use the uncertainty to their advantage.
Certainly.
And it's incredibly frustrating to know that that's who's in charge. And then you take ideals that you grow up loving, things like liberty, the vote, democracy, and you realize whether it's a king or it's the people vote, you still get folks in charge in government who do awful things. In fact, I think the folks that run this society often get away with things that kings would get their heads chopped off for.
Yep.
Not calling for that. The French Revolution was a bad idea.
No, but I think you're exactly right. There's enough separation.
Right.
Not me. And there's enough people that go, it's not me, it was him. And people buy into it. Oh, it was him.
Yeah, and once you start to realize, the king going, well, God ordained me to be king, it makes about as much sense as somebody going, well, I want a popularity contest so I can take your rights.
But
it's like, it doesn't.
But I didn't vote for you.
Yeah, there's just so many. You start to see the problems. And it'd be one thing. I truly believe there will always be an elite. Folks, there's always going to be folks who are better, who are more driven, ambitious, you could say in a negative way, power hungry, or who really are more talented, have a higher IQ, all this stuff. There's always going to be an elite. It exists in every industry. It exists in athletics. Like there are the greats of all time, the GOATs. So there will always be an elite, especially in politics. And I think actually looking at politics, you should look at the history of elites, not necessarily the official histories. Look at how one elite group rose up or how they came to power, these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's never going to go away. I think that's just human nature. We have leaders and we have followers. That's just how the world is. My problem is that the current set of elites are not doing well by the people they're claiming to serve. And
that's not new, though.
And then to add salt in the wound, they think they're doing a great job, and you're just too stupid. Yeah, it's the height of some of these people. I think that's where a lot of my frustration comes from, my anger comes from, is for a fact, no matter how the elections go, there are certain folks that will always be able to manipulate and get their way in a pretty awful way. But, it's like, go read Ecclesiastes, young man, get over it. Fear God and follow his commandments anyhow, despite all the nonsense in the world. We'll see. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Hey, this part of the program, these folks make me happy. Pest Pro Services.
Dude, they came by my Airbnb. I got a note this morning. They were coming by to do the mosquito treatment.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yep.
Like just getting rid of them?
Yep. I tell you what, I probably got a couple more treatments before we quit for the year. But right now, I know it's cold at night, but dude, in the mornings when I'm out there, I got mosquitoes everywhere at my house. I don't use them at my house. I use them at the Airbnb so I compare and contrast.
Sure.
Next year, they will be doing my house as well.
Right. Well, because you are in Mosquito Central by the lake.
Yes. Yes.
And if it works there, it's definitely going to work, say, in Forest Hills in Montgomery or Cloverdale.
100%.
Yeah. Like,
And
or if you're in a nice neighborhood there in Millbrook or Wetumpka, like it's going to work in those spots if it does work next to the
I was
lake.
impressed because, and Ashley will tell you, I was very skeptical. I was like, what happens when it rains? And she's like, it's still there, Eddie. Like, okay, we'll try this as a trial basis. Sold 110%.
So whether it's mosquito treatments or, before too long, it'll be, winter will be over. It's time to start checking on the termites again.
Yep.
And, instead of waiting for a big job like that, why not call up Pest Pro today? As the seasons change, some of those critters, spiders in particular, will be coming out.
Yep. Scorpions.
Ooh, wood scorpion?
Yeah, buddy. They're popping
So
up.
call them up at 265-9990 and ask Pest Pro to be your everyday pest control company. And you're going to learn what so many folks here in the River region have learned. They're fantastic. They do the job well. They do it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They do it right.
They do.
And they're also your neighbors. They're great local folks, so you know the money's staying here in the local economy. Just again, that number, 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Well, let's go to line one.
All right.
Risky click.
Oh, my.
Who's this?
Hey, this is Sam.
Hey, Sam.
That's right. I'm here in the pig store in Troy.
I'm so tempted before you go on, Sam.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, you dirty dog. I just want to call you a dirty dog for some
calling
reason.
Sam out for?
No, I'm not calling him out about anything. I just want to call him a dirty dog. Sam, you dirty dog. I get your messages.
I accept your accolades and your respect. Love you. Joey loves me. He finally admitted it. I cherish the moment on.
Oh, yeah, when I say dirty dog, it takes one to know one.
It's a very complimentary.
Why in the world? What am I doing? Why did I go? Oh, listen, hey guys. All seriousness, I've said this before, but whenever I hear that about the expansion of Medicaid, I remember that. I think it was Alvin Home, might have been Joe Reed, but Democrats in Alabama, they cried and cried. You always take the money. That was the quote. I heard it time and again. I guess they either didn't care what happened to the state, or they were just going to do what the heck they wanted to.
No, it's an excuse to raise tax.
Yeah, exactly right.
Down the road.
But it just, but they said you always take the money, and I kept hearing that while on. That was a good interview, man. Good show, Joe.
Well, Sam, let me ask you this: if I promised that I would give you $200,000 today, but when it's time to pay me back, I can't really tell you how much you're going to pay me back. Would you take the $200,000?
Man, yes, sir. Yes,
Sucker.
Yes, I would tell you.
I gotcha.
Yep.
I put it all into Bitcoin.
He
In
beat
that case,
the
yeah, he might have been.
I tried to get Alabama to put $1 billion in Bitcoin in a reserve. We would be sitting pretty.
You know, we should track that. Where would we be now?
If we had put ARPA money all into Bitcoin,
Yeah.
these
How would we
crazy
be? Where would we be?
rednecks and hillbillies, they're putting all their money into this unproven crypto. Where's the professionals like Daravi and Bronner to bring these people back to sanity? Oh my God, Alabama would look amazing if we had done that.
We
But of course,
certainly would.
we're not going to do
Just
that.
a couple dollars, something.
Oh, and also the securities commission around here, man, they're like a drug sniffing
Yeah, you
dog
noticed
with a
that?
red rocket.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
For
man,
justice.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yes,
The
I
FBI they have more agents doing accounting nowadays. They say than anything else. But
Yeah,
this
good
is the time. This is the time. I believe it. This is the time to put a little money, something into the coin. Joey, man, y'all sound aggressive. I like it. Let me get out here. I'm in the store.
Dirty dog.
All right, Sammy.
Yeah.
See you, brother man.
272-9228. How about this? Let's hit a break.
All right.
Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof luxury vinyl plank and engineered hardwood flooring at blowout sale prices. H&H Carpet, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Well, hi, everybody. We've got a forecast that is still dry as a bone for a few more days at least. With mostly clear skies tonight, the overnight low temperature drops to about 56. Tomorrow, very warm for late October with a high temperature in the upper 80s. I've got us around 86 Friday, 87 Saturday. Sunshine will dominate, 50s at night. Temperatures down just a tad on Sunday as a front moves through the area with a high around 79. Still dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Wet Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get a Kubota RTV with a $2,000 instant rebate or 0% APR, up to 48 months with approved credit. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Appreciate all the love and hate from folks on the live stream.
We get hated on again?
Yeah.
As usual.
But, you know, that's the nature of politics.
Yeah.
In this day and age. And I love how everybody wants to argue it. Like, you autistic morons. Like, I've been in the libertarian world. I know it is all about the argument. Yeah, it's not.
If you like to argue.
It's really not. It's absurd. It's been absurd for a long, long time in this country. We'll see. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like rooting for somebody in the main event of WrestleMania. It's fun to root on. You're even part of the show, and it does matter what you root on, what you boo. But come on. How much are you controlling the outcome?
I feel like I'm controlling it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Joey, they really want my vote. Both sides come at me. They
Right.
get all these great deals, so
Right.
I'm important to them.
Right. And ain't that liberty? Like, you know, all these folks spending billions of dollars to manipulate people. Especially the intellectually underprivileged like this guy here.
They're
Oh, sorry.
educating me, Joey. They're educating me.
Well, it's just like we're not smart enough, really, Eddie. So we have to just scream and yell. And
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you see Trump at McDonald's? That's pretty good.
In fact, I keep forgetting to show you. I'll show you something off air.
Mhm.
I think you and me can pick it up.
What?
Some Trump stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found a
Yeah.
site.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the longest time I went unaffiliated, but now I'm starting to feel the dark MAGA rising up in me. Yeah.
How's that making you feel?
Powerful.
You leaning into it a little bit?
Yeah, but in kind of the same way I'm rooting on the Undertaker. You know what I mean? I'm a mark.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm a mark in that regard. But who's going to win the state of Alabama?
That would be Donald John Trump. Yeah. Still feel pretty solid on it.
Right. 272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is Urbanite. I was noticing none of you have been talking about the proposal the Democrats have for the new tax plan, which is going to give more money to the people.
I'm unfamiliar with it. You feel free to educate.
Well, actually, I don't like the education I got. I woke up to it this morning on one of the morning talk shows, so I'm not sure of the facts.
Okay.
But it looks like increases in everything from the standard deduction to dependent care type stuff. I don't know how true it is, but I said that to say this. It's going to be a problem for Trump just saying no to some of that stuff if it comes up. Because there's no way we can achieve a balanced budget like that.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I think so, yeah.
No.
There's a lot you could cut.
Not initially. Yeah, you can cut some things, but you're also giving out a lot of things based on, because it was like doubling all that stuff, like the deductibles. It's gonna. I don't think it'd be sustainable. Not in the immediate future, maybe down the road, but.
No, I think you should slash taxes and you should cut the budget by 1%, say 5 years. It'd balance easy, especially with the economic growth it would produce.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Joe, but you can't give everybody back twice the money they got last year.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
But it won't be for everybody. I mean, granted, those tax codes, they're going to apply to people it applies for, but if I had one kid last year or my kid graduated from high school last year, I no longer get that benefit. Those things change in life. But I don't think, me personally, I don't think there's any kind of benefit out there that Trump would turn down. Right now, he's doing all he can do to get things going for the Americans.
And plus, people might be thinking about their pocketbook. They might be thinking about inflation. But did you see Trump dance in the place he was almost shot? That's why I'm voting for him. It's just as valid as your reasons.
No, I'm still trying to recover from the locker room.
The locker room?
Yeah, the thing about the Arnold Palmer.
Oh!
That was unreal. That was like a Saturday Night Live skit. Something was happening in real time.
Yeah, that's
I
hilarious.
understand that's an old clip, though. I understand that was an old clip.
I don't even know. I saw the clip, but
I
to
thought
me,
it
it was just Trump.
great. He didn't even have to carry a 9-iron.
Yeah, have a good one, gentlemen.
See you every night.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Wise little girl.
What?
Wise little girl.
Wise little girl.
Yeah. Hey, the only thing a libertarian's good for is to screw up an election.
Which election, like Georgia or something?
Tell Eddie Bader I said hey.
Thanks, honey.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a feeling, though, like the guy they nominated, we interviewed him, Chase Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's pulling from conservative-minded people, like even folks that thought they were more libertarian, kind of live and let live, but who in their own personal life are more conservative. I don't think Chase appeals to that type very much. He's pretty good on the anti-war thing. I'll give him that. And he's a pretty good messenger, but it'll be interesting to see whether it's the Libertarians or the Green Party, if they do, as Byron was talking about with us, play a little bit of a spoiler in some of these battleground states.
I don't know how many of those people. I mean, I know there's, believe you me, I'm sick of them. I know there's thousands upon thousands of the Green Party nuts. However, I'm wondering how many of those people can afford to honestly say, I cannot have 4 more years of this.
Right.
I mean, we can fix it and then we can start pushing it again. But right now, I got to put gas in my car.
You remember, I think it's a guy named Leonard Reed. He had this thing called the button push test.
I don't think so.
And Murray Rothbard, I think, updated it. But the idea is like if you could get a button, a magical button that would remove like all regulations, all taxes, all largesse in spending that's being given out of the public treasury, would you push that button? And I think the libertarian answer is I'd blister my thumb pushing that button.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah. I am in that class of people where I don't know if I'll get this. I doubt it, but I want the wrecking ball. Even if I'm knocking down something that somebody might want to keep. But the beautiful thing is, and I suspect, if you knock down a lot of these, say, departments and institutions, the people screaming about you knocking them down, say they get power back because they scream enough and scare enough people, and it hurts enough people because you knock down so much stuff. You cut in, not the fat, you also cut in the muscles.
Cut a little bit.
Get out of here. Stop it. You've cut enough. Those same folks screaming about you cutting, same folks screaming about you knocking it down, would build new things. It would look nothing like what you knocked down. They're just defending the status quo because it's the status
quo.
quo.
It's for them. It's their benefit.
Yes. But if you could actually, say, clear things out and people could get together and go, well, maybe we need this type of department, it would look nothing like the one you took out. And it's much needed, especially at the federal level. I think it's also much needed here at the state level. Like, it's absurd.
It is absurd, but I hate saying it, but we are to blame. We've let it go.
Yeah.
Would go largely unchecked until here recently. I mean, personally, all I did was focus on work, my family. I thought the politicians were doing their thing. They were on my nerves, but I thought they were looking out.
Let's go to line 4.
20 years, I didn't know.
You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
What's up,
man.
Randall?
What's that, Randall?
How much, man? That's what I was calling about. Like, they do this because I don't think it's because they think we stupid or you're stupid either way. It's that we ain't gonna do nothing about it, or just can't do nothing about it. Like, you can't go in there and tear it down because there's no way. The way they got it set up, they got it blocked for you to go in there and do that. So, I mean, and what is a life like this? I mean, going to do to us? Like you said, now we sitting here with all this information, and besides helping our friends try to let them learn, but they got their own information from their source. So we're all still in a battle, and then if Trump makes it to Congress on January 6th, and they turn him down, what in the world happens then?
Mayhem.
I mean, and one of the things that they added in the thing is that businesses can get credit on their taxes for watching the people's kids that work for them. Taking care, having a daycare, and so literally giving a place for the parents to drop off their kids when they go to work, and the business itself would get the tax credit. And I mean, you think Trump would turn that down or say no to that?
No, I think there's going to be a big push to come up with all sorts of ways to make childcare more affordable, and everybody's running to the middle on this. And if it's a good idea, so be it.
So, I was just calling to see what we look like coming in the future, man. I sometimes, you always say don't take it too far, take a breather some weeks, you know what I mean? Don't dig too deep, too fast, and don't eat both red pills. I guess it's 2 of them.
Yeah, and don't eat the whole bottle. Just take one.
Sir. Man, y'all, been a good show, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all.
Later. Let's go to, I was going to go to line 1, but I guess not. No, sit in that one. Yeah, that's a better one. We have a surprise guest stopping by.
Surprise?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Surprise,
How
surprise.
you doing? Good to see you.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Jacqueline.
I know. Hi.
Jay Quillen, as Greg said.
It's great to see you.
I'm in the house.
Yes.
No, don't put that thing on me.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You look wonderful.
You look
today,
beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
Is this your old business get up?
I mean, this is the lawyer. This is like lawyer Barbie. It's like lawyer Jacqueline.
I see it.
You look great.
I don't have my hoodie on and my sweatpants.
I know.
I know. It's weird.
It's official business
Like,
here.
what? Who are you?
Gonna make me nervous.
Where's your bush light? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, somebody was asking on the stream, is Eddie wearing a piece of pizza on his shirt?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I expect nothing less.
Thank you.
Right. And I mean, that's Eddie through and through. So what's on your mind today?
You know, nothing. It's just been a busy week. Lola's turning 4.
Yes. Can't believe that.
We have a birthday party this weekend. Minions.
Oh, nice.
We have a date tomorrow morning, don't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Does Joey know we're doing this?
Yes. And he's just going to reluctantly
He's
do
gonna
whatever
go
we
with the
ask him to do.
flow?
Yep.
So Lola, you won't be able to see it on the camera, but you'll be able to see it. So it's Minion theme. What?
Oh, that's adorable.
Look at that.
That is adorable.
Amazing.
I know. I'm gonna be a minion.
You've got so much talent with that. I mean, I know you're a
Thanks,
great lawyer and all
friend.
that, but man, you got party talent like nobody's business.
mean,
You can
like-
bring stuff together.
If I wasn't a lawyer or like an MMA fighter, I'd be a party planner.
MMA fighter.
MMA fighter,
Yeah,
really?
like, I just want to like whoop some.
You got a lot of rage?
Yeah, brother.
Nice.
Like I want it to be real though. Like I don't want it to be
Yeah.
staged. Like I want it to be able to like go in there and just like
Like a tough gal
yeah,
competition.
like do it.
We could put that on.
Like I'm gonna sucker punch you.
Her ground and pound is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We would pack the house.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a rodeo outfit out there somewhere where we could put a ring
I
in.
mean, there's a lot of outlets. I feel like we
Yes.
could find one.
It's a great idea.
But yeah, so party planning
Nice.
after cage fighting.
Nice. No, it's like there's almost a world outside of all this politics we cover every day.
No.
Oh, and I haven't showed Joey the video you and I were going back and forth with.
Yes.
I'm going to talk to Greg about it today, but
Okay.
Joey might have to play the lead.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
What?
We have a plan,
We got a great promotional plan.
and I'm
It's gonna do
down.
Yeah, it's so good.
Okay.
So good.
Listen, let Eddie and I do the heavy lifting.
That's fine.
we
That's
got it.
fine.
So yeah. So what are you guys talking about today?
Oh, we've been all over the place.
Joey
Yeah.
got mad earlier. It was pretty
Why?
funny.
Yeah, I did
he
get
was pretty
mad.
triggered. It was pretty good.
About what?
I don't even remember.
All the lying and the elites and just this corrupt system.
Yeah. It's kind of sickening, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
right.
then you realize like how deep it goes and how long they've been doing it. It's like
And then you get somebody who's like, what about democracy? He's like, grow Peter Pan.
yeah, we don't have that.
Give me a break.
What a fairy tale.
This is how Joey was going. He was going nuts. It was so good because it's usually me that's losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great to just sit back and watch. Oh, so that's how foolish I look. Oh boy.
I mean, like
Actually, I've watched
okay.
back when I've done a rant and
You
got angry,
fine.
and it's
Give me a
fine.
hard time.
It's like, ooh, passion.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there is some emotion deep
Right,
down inside
exactly.
there. Look
It
at
is.
that. Right in the
Right.
cockles of your heart, there's a little bit of rage. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
We got to hit a break.
All right, let's break.
First, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting and their River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you folks out with that roof of yours. It could be an asphalt or a metal roof. It should be inspected every few years, but you might as well get it done every year because their River Region Contracting, what is it, Eddie? They have free estimates?
Free estimates, Joey.
And
will
free
climb-
inspection.
Yes, they will climb up on your roof for you. Wow. For you. And they don't even ask to borrow
So
your
they don't
ladder.
find a problem, you don't have to pay anything?
No. But let me go ahead and tell you, they'll tell you everything they find, whether it's a problem or not. You might say, you know what, I heard a bump in the middle of the night. Could you check out my roof? They'll come back down. They might tell you, yeah, you had a little bit of a limb landed on there. No big deal. We swept it off. No problem. These are great people. They're not out there to take advantage of you. They're there to educate you and make sure you stay good and dry.
They're good folks there. Yeah, they're not going to tell you, like, go away, kid, you bother me.
Right.
They're going to be like, here's the exact problem. Here's exactly how we're going to fix it.
Yep.
They show up on time to get the job done well. Again, whether it's an asphalt or metal roof, you need to get it inspected on a regular basis. So the insurance company might pay for it, actually.
Right.
If you wait too long, they're going to be like, you were negligent.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and here's the other great news. They're insurance specialists, so they can walk you through that insurance claims process there at River Region Contracting. Call them today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, What are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby likes it.
Whitworth Farm Equipment has a qualified and certified mechanic. Gary Baker can do it all. Along with Josh and Gillian, Chara now has the full-service farm center you've been looking for. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. They're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 till 5 and Mondays by appointment. Whitworth Farm Equipment for all tractor parts, service implements, and trailers. Plus, they now sell pine straw rolls. 285-9977 or visit them at 7458 Deatsville Highway.
Hello, this is Yasmin Hostin with Beauty and Beyond. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for 10 years plus. If you would like to increase your business, use Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations. They get results.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Let's go right to the phones. Dr. Ray Bowles from Bradwell Carpenter. Hey, Ray, how you doing today?
Man, we're doing great on the Deatsville Highway.
Oh, yeah. Great little highway out there.
Yeah, we had a lady, we put her carpet in at 22, and for some reason the pad's making a crinkling noise. Very strange, but it's still making a crinkling noise, so we'll be out there Monday to replace it for them. And the moral of this, telling you about this, is that's why you call proper carpet. It's not just because you want a good buy on something, and it's not just because we're super friendly and you want to hang out with us. It's 2 years later when you have a little issue, we'll come running and say, oh, yeah, we'll be out Monday to take care of that. That's not a big deal.
That's nice.
You're not going to get that from a big box store.
Correct.
That's why you got to go with a great local small business, folks. And Prattville Carpet, y'all still doing that raffle, that big drawing?
We are. The box is half full or it's half empty, either way you want to look at it.
Okay.
You come by, put your name in it, you've got a really good shot at winning a new countertop.
All right. But you got to stop by the store, folks. It's 2201 Cobbs Ford Road. Or if you're looking for like a great job, well done, and, you know, support service after the sale, that number's 285-8117. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, guys, y'all have a good day.
You too, Ray.
See you, brother.
So did we learn anything today?
It was just good watching you get triggered a little bit. It was good. It was good seeing it was not me. I came in feeling zen. I'm leaving feeling zen.
Right. It is just amazing the different worlds people live in.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
The different realities.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think all of us, if you're paying attention to politics, rooting for one side or the other, you're stuck in the middle of a fugazi.
Yep.
In many ways. And yet people will end friendships, people will end family relationships, people will dog cuss each other, treat each other as evil. You can kind of see why the history of man is the way it is. You would think in a country that prides itself on its moral standing, we would be better than that and not give way to
we let that go.
All sorts of pathologies and corruption, but that's the world, unfortunately, that we live in. But as I often say, as others have noticed, despite all the ruin around us, it's very entertaining.
This is true.
It is pretty funny.
This is true.
Like, we're going to be the funniest declining nation if we keep going the way we're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still hard to watch.
Yeah, but then you start laughing. You're like, oh, man, okay.
Right.
Yeah, look at that fat, ugly woman getting hurt. Anyway.
Yeah.
Look at those down-home goobers on that talk radio show. Look at them. Look at how triggered he's getting.
Right. I realize
we're
watching our own show.
It's all a show. Everything in life is now a stage. It's difficult to have real relationships when that's going on, but it is certainly entertaining.
That it is, my friend.
And on that note, I guess we need to get out of here because Greg Budel's here,
he's got a full-
Jacqueline Tomlinson
He's got
joining
a
him.
full board. I see lots of folks out there waiting. Rosie's out there waiting.
Hey, Greg!
I guess they were going to rush us out of here.
Yeah, y'all stay tuned. Happy hour, Greg Budel. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.